Red Zone weather in Bruton, Alabama, with meteorologist Spinks Meganson. Severe weather coverage starts right now.
12:24 p.m. when we have a tornado warning for the far northern part of Mobile County and also northern Baldwin County. This tornado warning is in effect until 12:45 p.m. Possible tornado in northern Mobile County, making a beeline for Highway 43 and areas just south of Calvert. Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Spinks Meganson. Current time is 12:24 p.m. and this is a tornado warning in effect for parts of Mobile and Baldwin counties. The far northern part of those counties now under an active tornado warning. And again, this is going to be on the board until 1 o'clock. I think I said 12:45 a second ago. This warning is until 1 o'clock. We've got a possible tornado here in northern Mobile County, and this is moving toward the community of Bucks and also Mount Vernon along US Highway 43. And so a big call to action at this point for those two communities in the far northern part of Mobile County, now under the gun from what could be a tornado on the ground here in South Alabama and Northwest Florida. I'm meteorologist Spinks Meganson. Been tracking tornadoes over the last several hours across parts of central Alabama. Quickly, I want to go over to our different radar source because we have a very dangerous situation in Selma, Alabama ongoing. Large tornado moving through Selma, Alabama in Dallas County. That also has prompted a tornado warning for parts of Autauga County. And again, this is in central Alabama, but if you know someone in Selma, Alabama, you call them now because this is a large confirmed tornado moving through the city of Selma, Alabama. Again, we'll let the Montgomery folks deal with that. That's in their television market, but we are here because of this tornado warning in parts of Mobile and Baldwin counties. And this is going to be on the board until 1 o'clock. This tornado warning, the Weather Service is actually now calling this an observed tornado. So this is now a confirmed tornado happening in northern Mobile County. And this is quickly going to be coming up on US Highway 43 near Mount Vernon and Chastain in northern Mobile County. So again, let's kind of set the scene here because we've got a lot that's happened over the last few minutes. Here are the entirety of Mobile and Baldwin counties, two very large counties in coastal Alabama. This tornado warning is for a small part of these two very large counties, and specifically this is in effect for Mount Vernon, Bucks, Chastain, all the way over to northern Baldwin County near Stockton and Tensas, involved in this tornado warning due to a confirmed tornado doing damage in the northern part of Mobile County. Those are not my words. Those are the words of the National Weather Service tracking this situation in northern Mobile County. If you're in the city of Mobile, you are not included in this tornado warning. Here's the watch warning map. Mobile is fine. The city of Mobile is A-OK right now. Same thing in Satsuma, Saraland, Pritchard, Crichton, Wilmer, areas near Bayou La Battery, Coden. All those areas are fine. Specifically for the northern part of Mobile County, that's where we've got the issues ongoing. Let's go back over to our live radar product. And again, we're tracking this tornadic supercell that is apparently producing a confirmed tornado. And yeah, you know what? They are... the Weather Service is calling this a very serious situation due to a confirmed tornado. They're indicating that the debris is being lofted up to 6,000 feet in the air. And yeah, there it is right there. That blue dot is a confirmed tornado moving through the northern part of Mobile County, Alabama. And so again, a very dangerous situation at this point. For the far northern part of Mobile County. Again, just getting out some more information here. This is a confirmed tornado in the northern part of Mobile County, Alabama, coming into areas near US Highway 43, Mount Vernon, and Chastain. So again, watching this situation very carefully. This is one of those that you really need to take seriously as we have a confirmed tornado doing damage coming into areas near US Highway 43 south of Calvert. If you're in Calvert, you're okay right now. No issues at the AMNS former ThyssenKrupp plant there at Calvert. This is south of there, and this is north of Interstate 65. And so possible tornado is coming up on US Highway 43 in Mobile County. And tell you what, let's see if we can go over to the high-res correlation coefficient product. I think we'll be able to see this a bit better on radar scope. Yeah, right there, that is a large tornado doing damage. There's no doubt about it at this point. Tornado on the ground, very serious situation for Mount Vernon, Chastain, and areas near US Highway 43 in the far northeastern corner of Mobile County, Alabama. This is going to cross the Mobile-Tensas River Delta and come into Baldwin County. And this is one of those discrete, isolated supercell thunderstorms that has developed out ahead of the main line of thunderstorms that still has to come through a bit later this afternoon. And so, again, this situation has escalated fairly quickly in that we have a confirmed tornado in northern Mobile County doing damage at this point. The Weather Service continues to call this a particularly dangerous storm as it moves into Mount Vernon. Let's go back over to our radar product and we'll show you this storm on radar. And yeah, look at that. Classic hook echo on radar. This tornado is on the ground in northern Mobile County. And again, this is moving basically to the east at about 40 miles per hour. And look, you know, the storms up in central Alabama have been doing so much damage and they've been lasting a bit longer in terms of their overall strength. And so this could be one of those storms that lasts, you know, a pretty good while as this is in an untapped environment. And so I'm concerned because this could end up being potentially a longer track tornado. Even if it's not a longer track tornado, we know that this thing is on the ground doing damage in northern Mobile County. And for everyone near Mount Vernon and Chastain along US Highway 43, those are the areas involved in this immediate danger zone. But if this continues, this is basically moving just a little bit to the north of due east. This could be an issue ultimately for areas north of Atmore out here towards Porch in about 30 to 45 minutes. And so putting you on notice, just know if you're near Huxford or Porch, this will approach you from the west. And again, I'm concerned because this is a supercell out in a very untapped environment. And so we will see what happens downwind of this. But right now, this is specifically an issue for northern Mobile and Baldwin counties. If you know someone that is anywhere near Mount Vernon or Chastain, this is a situation where we have a tornado on the ground. This is doing damage. This is not one of those possible tornado deals. We know that this storm is doing damage in northern Mobile County at this point. Probably having some hail near the AMNS former ThyssenKrupp plant there, near the county line near Calvert. This is probably a hail core. And I should mention as well, this entire area is under a severe thunderstorm warning. And so you could have hail up to, say, quarter size, maybe even larger than that, in addition to the pronounced tornado threat that is ongoing near Bucks, near Chastain, near Mount Vernon as well. Yeah, and the Weather Service is noting that storms in central Alabama continue to cycle, and we may be about to see kind of the same thing here in this supercell that has emerged in northern Mobile County, about to cross the Mobile-Tensas River Delta into Baldwin County. Tell you what, let's shift gears for one moment because I do want to show the entire region in terms of what we've got going on. Here's your main line of thunderstorms back here in West Alabama. Choctaw County is here. This is Clark and Washington counties. There are no active tornado warnings for Clark, Washington, or Choctaw counties, but you do have a severe thunderstorm warning in place for those three counties due to this main line of thunderstorms. Once this comes through your location, you get an all clear for the day. This is not going to be one of those deals that lasts all night. We will not be here into the night. This whole shebang should be done by 6 o'clock tonight. The whole mess will be off to our east at that point. Tornado watch. We do have an ongoing tornado watch for now all parts of South Alabama, Southwest Alabama, and Escambia and Santa Rosa counties in Northwest Florida. And so if you're in a county shaded in yellow, basically all of our area except Okaloosa and Walton counties, you are involved in an active tornado watch. So we will be watching this main line of thunderstorms. There have been embedded tornadoes over the last several hours across parts of central Alabama. Tell you what, let's look briefly at that storm in coming into Autauga County, because again, this is the most robust storm that we have seen all day. I tell you what, let's go back to the main radar source. Tornado warning coming out of Selma, coming into areas near Billingsley in Autauga County, Alabama, north of Prattville. Dangerous supercell thunderstorm did damage in Selma and near Selma and Valley Grande there in Dallas County. That is an issue for the Central Alabama television market. So if you know someone in Dallas or Autauga counties, good idea to call them, check on them, make sure they're okay. Severe thunderstorm warning continues for Thomasville, Coffeyville, Simcoe, Sand Flat, Springfield, and Clark County. Nasty storms moving in. But again, the reason we are here is because of this. This is an ongoing tornadic supercell thunderstorm that is doing damage in parts of northern Mobile County, near Mount Vernon and Chastain. And so, again, we're calling for everyone near Latham, Tensaw, Vaughn, areas just north of Stockton out here in northern Baldwin County. Please be sheltered. If you know anyone in those places that I just called out, you need to call them, text them, tag them in the comments below, as we have now a possible tornado near Mount Vernon about to cross the river delta, Mobile River here, coming out towards Alabama Highway 59 near Tensaw, Latham, and Vaughn over the next few minutes. Current time is 12:35 p.m. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson. And we knew today was probably going to be an active weather day, but this escalated very quickly in that we've got a tornado on the ground doing damage in parts of northern Mobile County. And keep in mind, this may not be the last tornado warning of the day for parts of South Alabama and Northwest Florida. We have an ongoing level 2 out of 5 severe weather risk for inland zones, basically from this map view here that you see here all the way northward. There actually is a higher level 3 risk for parts of central and east Alabama, but the immediate call to action at this point as of 12:36 p.m. is for far northwestern Mobile County near Mount Vernon and Chastain. We need you to stay sheltered. And coming over here into Baldwin County near Vaughn, Latham, and Tensaw along the northern periphery of Alabama Highway 59. This is north of Interstate 65. And again, just to kind of paint the picture here, if you are in Daphne, Montrose, Spanish Fort, Fairhope, Point Clear, this has nothing to do with you. Same thing down at the Alabama beaches, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, Foley, you're okay. Same thing at Robertsdale, Summerdale, everybody south of Interstate 65 is okay. Bay Minette, Crossroads, Bromley, A-OK right now. No issues in terms of an immediate tornado threat. The issues are in the far northern part of Baldwin County, out here towards Latham and Tensaw. Possible tornado now over the Mobile River. This will briefly become a water spout before it crosses into that swampland of the Mobile-Tensaw River Delta. And look, the Weather Service has actually canceled out Mobile County. And so from the immediate tornado threat, we can give you a tornado all clear for Mount Vernon, Chastain, Bucks, and areas here in northern Mobile County. Again, Mobile County, Alabama gets a tornado all clear. Now, don't get me wrong, the weather's horrible in this area. We know that heavy rain, hail, lightning ongoing, but the immediate tornado threat has shifted now, and this is in far northern Baldwin County, Alabama. And so Latham, Tensaw, areas north of Stockton in Baldwin County involved in this active tornado warning on this Thursday, January 12th. And tell you what, let's zoom in because this is, I'm telling you, this is a tiny, tiny tornado warning polygon. And let's actually switch over to the velocity view and see, yeah, that circulation is hanging on. It's certainly not as robust as what it once was, but this could be a tornado out over the Mobile-Tensaw River Delta moving just like that. And so again, on that trajectory, this is going to be an immediate issue for Alabama Highway 59 near Tensaw, Latham, north of Stockton in Baldwin County. Possible tornado here moving just like that. Let's see if we can back this up and show you that, yeah, when this warning was issued a few minutes ago, you can see this was much more of a tight circulation, and we'll go over to the correlation coefficient product. Basically what this does, this allows us to see if debris is being lofted into the sky. And we saw that here, right there. You see that blue dot? It may be a bit hard to see unless I slow it down right there. That is a tornado that was doing damage in parts of northern Mobile County. What happened was it moved to the east, and that signature has now broadened out. And so the Weather Service is going to maintain this ongoing tornado warning for parts of northern Baldwin County near Latham and Tensas over the next few minutes. Again, tornado warning for Baldwin County, Alabama, for the far northern part of the county. This has nothing to do with the major population centers in Baldwin County. Daphne, Fairhope, Montrose, Bay Minette, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, Foley, A-OK. If you're, scrolling by on Facebook perhaps, this is for the far northern part of Baldwin County. Latham, Tensas. You need to be sheltered at this point. Tornadic supercell crossing the Mobile-Tensas River Delta, and this is rapidly about to be on top of Latham and Tensas near Alabama Highway 59. Let me step off camera briefly because I do want to get a few things set up here in terms of our graphics systems. This is the only tornado warning that we have on the board as of at 12:40 p.m. in terms of tornado warnings here in our local area. There have been many tornado warnings in the central part of the state. And the Weather Service is actually indicating that there could be a debris signature reemerging here. You kind of see this inflow notch right here into the storm, and that is where your likely tornado is. So it's kind of counterintuitive to what you might think. Here's your hail core up here, these darker shades of red and pink and purple up in through here, but your tornado is going to be on the south side, the back flank of this supercell thunderstorm, coming into areas near Latham and Tensas as of 12:40 p.m. The good news is I'm not seeing anything so far in the way of damage from these severe thunderstorm warnings in West Alabama. Let me mention as well that we also have ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings for parts of Washington, Choctaw, Clark, and Wilcox counties here in West Alabama. Line of thunderstorms about to come into Thomasville, so the weather's about to get nasty in Thomasville, in areas near Fulton, Sand Flat, Springfield, Zimco, Salitpa, St. Stephen's, Milry, Chatham, Yarbo. All those areas about to have nasty weather due to severe thunderstorms moving through those areas in parts of Clark and Washington counties. Briefly, let's go over to our radar scope source. This is Autauga County, Alabama. So here's Selma back here. They had a major tornado hit a bit ago in Selma. This supercell storm in Autauga County is going to pass north of Prattville. Prattville sits right here. There's the Montgomery Metro. Millbrook and Wetumpka are over in Elmore County. Possible tornadoes about to cross U.S. Highway 82. So I did want to mention that. If you know someone who would be traveling on U.S. Highway 82 in Autauga County or Interstate 65 between Montgomery and Birmingham, you may want to call them and let them know that we've got a tornado in Autauga County, Alabama, in the central part of the state. So a tornado warning for Autauga County. We also have this ongoing tornado warning where we are in parts of northern Baldwin County. This is Alabama Highway 59 right here, Tensas, Latham. Those are the areas under the gun from this possible tornado. And this could ultimately be an issue for Lottie, Redtown, and ultimately perhaps Boonville, Porch, and Huxford if it holds its strength. At this point, the cell is kind of cycling up and down, and that's what we expect on a day like today. These are not going to be tornadoes that are on the ground for 20, 30 miles most likely. But if you get a tornado in your location, it's a big deal. And what we see here is that we know that a tornado happened in the far northern part of Mobile County. And now this cell has crossed into Baldwin County, into the far northern part of the county, out here near Latham and Tensas. And I see that we actually have an update to that warning. Yeah, the Weather Service is simply trimming this polygon back to cancel out parts of Choctaw County from that severe thunderstorm warning. And so again, for our folks in Thomasville, Grove Hill, Fulton, Salitpa, St. Stephen's, Chatham, weather is about to get nasty, but that's a severe thunderstorm capable of producing damaging straight-line winds. The tornado issue at this point is strictly for parts of Baldwin County, Alabama, specifically near Latham and Tensas. And so again, watching this very carefully as of 12:44 p.m. Let's see if we've got anything coming in on the social side of things in terms of photos or videos that we can share with you. So far, I really haven't had many reports today. Oh, and goodness, I see, I can't show this one on air, but this tornado that went through Selma in Dallas County was a nasty, large tornado. Just seeing some of the terrible images that are coming out of Selma, just horrifying. We saw a large confirmed tornado that moved through the northern part of Selma, Alabama earlier. And so again, just to kind of say this again, if you know someone in Selma, Alabama, the warning is gone, all right? The warning in Dallas County is gone. But I would call them and check on them if you know someone in or near Valley Grande or Selma. They're in Dallas County. 12:45 p.m. Tracking this possible tornado in northern Baldwin County in South Alabama. Tell you what, let's go back over to the radar scope source, because here's your warning. And again, just to get your geographical bearings straight, here's Bay Minette. Mount Vernon is here. All clear for northern Mobile County. All clear for northern Mobile County. You're out of the warning. And this has really kind of devolved a bit over the last few frames. Could there be a tornado down? Absolutely. We got a tornado warning for northern Baldwin County near Latham and Tensas, but that signature is not as impressive as it once was even 5 minutes ago, to be honest, to be frank with you. And so we're going to hang with this for the next few minutes, but I would not be shocked if the Weather Service decides to let this go. And yeah, they're going to issue a new severe thunderstorm warning. And so this is a new severe thunderstorm warning that's about to come on the board for parts of Escambia County, Alabama. This is going to be an extension of this tornado, and it's not a tornado warning, it's a new severe thunderstorm warning that's basically replacing the tornado warning. This is going to look something like this, all right? This area out ahead of this supercell thunderstorm, and yeah, there it is. So we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's just coming on the board for parts of Escambia, Alabama, Monroe, southwestern Conecuh, and northern Baldwin counties. And so this is a good thing. What's happened here, the Weather Service in their assessment, they believe that this storm is tame enough, per se, in their assessment, that this probably is not producing a tornado. Now, you still may get gusty winds, you're going to get heavy rain, lots of lightning, but the overall couplet with the mesocyclone here in this thunderstorm, it's weakened to the point that the Weather Service is not going to issue a tornado warning for now, anyway, for parts of northern Baldwin and also Escambia, Alabama. And so this is a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just come on the board for parts of northern Baldwin, Escambia, Alabama, southern Monroe, and also southwestern Conecuh. And so what they're doing, they're replacing this tornado warning with a new severe thunderstorm warning. And again, what we're expecting over the next few hours is probably more of this, in other words, more severe thunderstorm warnings, as the better dynamics of this weather system continue to kind of lift away to the north. But I should mention as well, they have not canceled the tornado warning for Baldwin County. And so I think what they're going to do is simply let this go, let this ride until 1 o'clock, which is when it expires for parts of, and they're actually going to continue that tornado warning until 1 o'clock for Latham and Tensas. So just as a course of least regret, even though we know the Weather Service is going to change this to a severe thunderstorm warning, which they've already done, I would remain sheltered if I am in Tensas, Latham, areas north of Stockton, out here on 59 in northern Baldwin County. Just, let's keep it there for the next few minutes, and we'll be able to give you an all clear shortly. It's not going to be long. We've already done that for parts of northern Mobile County all clear at this point, but we're talking about Baldwin County at this point. and areas in western Escambia County, Alabama, under the gun from a severe thunderstorm that previously produced a tornado warning. So again, this is a new severe thunderstorm warning until... Oh, and you know what? They are actually calling this an observed tornado still. Let's joined alongside executive producer Bentley Martin at this point. Bentley, if you'll take me back over to, let's go over to the radar scope source, because they have modified that polygon a little bit. And there it is. It's kind of hard to see in the midst of that, background of pink. There's your polygon. And the Weather Service at 12:47 continued to call this an observed tornado, but I'll be honest, I do not see anything on correlation coefficient, nor do I see anything in the chat that would necessarily, prompt that. Let's see if we can go over to the velocity and see it there. Yeah, and I mean, this thing continues to cycle. There's no doubt about it. And so perhaps what they're going to do is keep this severe thunderstorm warning going out ahead of it. We'll have to see if they decide to issue a new tornado warning. That is possible. Getting a ton of damage reports from Selma. I mean, Selma took a direct hit from a large, violent tornado about 20 to 30 minutes ago. And so again, if you know someone in Selma, you need to call them and let them know that, I say let them know, check on them, make sure they're okay, as we know that that city in Dallas County, Alabama took a direct hit from what was a significant tornado warning. And Bentley, interrupt me if you see anything on the live feeds, if you will, please. Current time now 12:50 p.m. on this Thursday, January the 12th. Getting a video in. Let's see if we can pinpoint exactly where this was. Yeah, I don't really see the actual tornado in that fairly long video, so we'll get away from that. Tell you what, if you will, let's go in just one moment, please. We're getting set to go to our LD2 source in just a minute, because I do want to check on that storm in central Alabama. Yeah, if you'll take me over to LD2, I do want to show this. We got a new tornado warning. This is out of our area, though. New tornado warning for parts of Autauga, Chilton, Elmore, and Coosa counties. This is a tornadic supercell that's out ahead of your main batch of storms. This is going to cross Interstate 65 south of Clanton and north of Wetumpka. And so this is going to be in rural Autauga County now. This has crossed US Highway 82, and this is about to cross the Coosa River out here into northern Elmore and southern Coosa counties there in central Alabama. So just be aware of that. If you know someone that would be traveling on Interstate 65 or US Highway 31 north of Montgomery, you need to call them and let them know this is a violent storm that has done damage back in Selma. Let's go back over to LD1, our storm here in South Alabama, because we're tracking this supercell thunderstorm that has produced confirmed tornado damage back in the northern part of Mobile County. And the tornado warning continues near Latham and Tensall. Now it's not a big polygon at all. Let's go back over to the radar scope source. Same storm, same angle here. There's your circulation. It's broad at this point, but it's not gone away just yet. And the concern here, this storm is actually, kind of tapping into an environment that has been untapped. And so you're seeing me circle parts of Escambia, Florida, and Alabama. This environment is conducive for potentially more thunderstorms that could produce tornadoes over the next, say, 2 to 3 hours. And so this storm is moving into an environment that would be supportive potentially for more tornadoes over the next little bit. Let's go back over to LD1. And again, we're tracking this supercell thunderstorm in parts of Baldwin County. The Weather Service maintaining this tornado warning. And Bentley, we got to do something that we don't like to do. Let's go back over to LD2. This is going to be a big one. We have a tornado emergency that's just been called for parts of Autauga County in Alabama. And so, we train around here. This is, the worst of the worst. A tornado emergency has just been called for parts of Autauga County in Alabama. And so what that means is if you know someone that would be perhaps driving on Interstate 65, we've got a large, violent tornado doing damage in Autauga County. And so we need to, let's see if we can kind of zoom in on that, because this tornadic supercell is not only doing damage, it's prompted the rarest of the rare. In fact, there it is. You see that bounded weak echo region. This is a large violent tornado that is probably doing major type damage in Autauga County in parts of central Alabama. Again, the Weather Service is calling this a tornado emergency, which is the rarest of the rare tornado warnings. And let's just keep that on the screen for the next few minutes, because I do want to call out some of the places involved in this. The Weather Service in Birmingham upgrading this to a tornado emergency. Deatsville, Marbury, you've also got areas out in through here near New Prospect, near the I-65 corridor. And so a tornado emergency. Again, this is the rarest of the rare. And this event today has overperformed in terms of tornadoes across central Alabama. Downwind of this is going to be a major problem for parts of Elmore and Coosa counties, all right? So the Weather Service calling this a tornado emergency, and possible, and this is no longer possible, this is a confirmed large violent tornado about to cross Interstate 65 somewhere south of Clanton, north of Prattville in Autauga County. This is going to be a major problem for parts of northern Elmore, southern Coosa, and look, Lake Martin and Alexander City and Dadeville near Lake Martin, putting you on notice. You've got the rarest of the rare happening here just to your southwest. You need to be on guard. If you know someone in all those places that I just called out, let them know, because this means business. Let's go briefly over to radar scope. We'll come back to our storm in Baldwin County, which is why we're here, but that is a nasty, violent tornado signature about to cross Interstate 65 just to the north of Deatsville. Deatsville's on the Elmore County side. Yeah, look at that. That is just something you pray you never ever see. This is a violent tornado doing immense damage in central Autauga County. This has crossed 82, about to be on Interstate 65, a tornado emergency. Back over to LD1. Let's go back over to our storm. No tornado emergency, thankfully, so far in South Alabama or Northwest Florida, but that one in central Alabama in Autauga County means business. We do have a tornado warning that continues for the next 4 minutes, and that's about as small of a polygon as you will ever see anywhere. The Weather Service believes that there could be a brief tornado in through here. And look, you know, this thing is, I mean, it's got the classic kidney bean shape right here. This is the back flank of that supercell thunderstorm that likely is producing a tornado. And let's keep it here, because this storm is about to cross into Escambia County, Alabama, out near Porch, Huxford, Boonville, which sits right here. This is going to be near the state park along Alabama Highway 21. And again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning for those areas that I've been talking about over the last few seconds. Porch, Huxford, Boonville, Uri, Chrysler, Vocation, which is right here, Wallace, Barnett's Crossroads, Sardine, Robinsonville, Freemanville, all under the gun from this tornadic supercell that could be producing a tornado in northern Baldwin County. It's more questionable at this point than it was even 10 minutes ago. But for folks in those areas, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. The Weather Service sending me a message indicating that they are watching this situation very carefully, but as of this particular moment, as of 12:57, they are not going to extend the tornado warning in northern Baldwin into Escambia for now. And so what they're going to do is maintain the severe thunderstorm warning. They're noting, though, that this storm is cycling up and down. And so, and I think that's a good call, kind of based on the signature that we're seeing here. Let's go back over to radar scope, and I'll show you that this has now moved out of the tornado warning polygon. And this is going to be producing gusty winds near Rabun and Lottie over the next few minutes. Same thing coming into Syrange and also at Boonville, Porch, Huxford. Gusty winds are the main concern. There is not a tornado signature with this storm as of now. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning to tell you about. We'll come back to that in just a minute. New severe thunderstorm warning coming on the board for Clark, Monroe, and Wilcox counties. That's what you're hearing in the background. But this thunderstorm that now was a formerly tornado-warned storm has prompted a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Escambia, Monroe, and Conecuh counties. It is coming up on 1 o'clock. And tell you what, let's go back over to LD1. I want to do kind of a reset as we get toward the top of the hour here, as we are in the midst of a serious situation across the state of Alabama. Tornado emergency in effect for northern Autauga County. Tornado warning in effect for Elmore and Coosa counties. You may get a tornado warning for parts of Tallapoosa County in the next 30 minutes. But we do have this new severe thunderstorm warning locally, and this is going to include Grove Hill, Fulton, Sand Flat, Springfield, Salitpa, McIntyre, Simcoe, Cyrene, Old Line Road, Watley, all involved in this new severe thunderstorm warning. And it's because of that notch that you kind of see right in through here. Could have damaging straight line winds coming into Grove Hill and areas out here near the Grove Hill Airport, near the health department on the north side of town, near Clark Prep, Fulton, Sand Flat, all those areas involved in this new severe thunderstorm warning could have upwards of 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts over the next few minutes in those areas. It is now 2 p.m. in the east, it is 11 a.m. out west, and it's 1 o'clock here in South Alabama and Northwest Florida, where we are kicking off our second hour of live tornado warning coverage. And at this moment, the good news is we have no active tornado warnings for any part of Southwest Alabama or Northwest Florida. We do have ongoing significant severe weather issues happening across parts of Central Alabama. Let's go back over to LD2. This is a tornado emergency that's in progress for parts of Autauga County. Large, violent tornado happening near Interstate 65, south of Clanton, north of Montgomery, north of Prattville. This is going to be out here towards Deatsville in Elmore County over the next few minutes. And ultimately, this is going to be crossing areas near Lake Martin in about 45 minutes, really 30 to 45 minutes at this point. The call to action is for northern Autauga, northern Elmore, and southern Coosa counties. That's where we have active tornado warnings, one of which is a tornado emergency at this point. Back over to LD1, let's talk about what's happening locally. And we're going to keep the coverage going for a minute at least, because we're tracking a cyclical supercell thunderstorm that could cycle back up and produce a tornado warning over the next few minutes here in parts of northern Baldwin, western Escambia, and southern Monroe counties. Again, let me stress, at this point, we have no active tornado warnings as of 1:01 p.m., but we're going to keep the coverage going because we now have 2 active severe thunderstorm warnings in place that may ramp up and produce tornado warnings imminently over the next few minutes. First thing we need to do, let's talk about this new severe thunderstorm warning that's in place for Clark, Monroe, and Wilcox counties. This is in place for Fulton, Grove Hill, Watley, Cyrene, Packers Bend, Franklin, Scratch Ankle, Vredenburg, Beatrice, Buena Vista involved in this new severe thunderstorm warning. That one is going to be in place until 1:45 local time. Damaging straight line winds and large hail coming into Grove Hill and Fulton over the next few minutes. We got a storm report that's just come in. Power lines down, poles snapped, debris blocking the road on US Highway 43 in Mount Vernon. That's that same storm that we were covering about 30 minutes ago in northern Mobile County. Northern Mobile County is out of any kind of warning, so all clear for northern Mobile County. That same storm, though, has crossed the Mobile-Tensaw River Delta into Baldwin County, and we now have a situation where we have very heavy rain, could have some small hail and gusty winds coming into Porch, Huxford, areas near Boonville, the Porch Creek Indian Reservation, areas near Wind Creek Casino, areas near the Coastal Alabama Community College campus there, which is technically the Atmore campus there at Porch, all the way back up to Fountain Prison, Huxford, Uri, the state park right there at Little River, all those areas under the gun from what could be a storm that could be producing, say, 60 or 70 mile per hour wind gusts over the next few minutes. Bentley, have you seen anything over the last few minutes worth noting?
There's damage on Highway 43 in Vermont. In Vernon, I think you just said that.
Yeah, Mount Vernon. Yeah, thank you for that. And that's exactly right. We've had confirmed damage from the Weather Service. They sent out a tornado storm report. We had a confirmed tornado. You remember we had the tornadic debris signature. And that's one of those things that the federal government did a few years ago in terms of upgrading our radars to be able to see tornadic debris that's being wafted into the sky. And we saw that near Mount Vernon. And so now we're getting the ground truth reports. What else you got?
Someone wants you to explain what a tornado emergency is.
Yeah, I tell you what, to do that, let's see if we can go back up to, let's go to LD2, and I'll explain that briefly because we do have this ongoing tornado emergency. In fact, there it is. You see that purple pinkish polygon that is super rare. A tornado emergency is basically the rarest of the rare tornado warnings. And so a tornado warning is bad enough. Let me click on this and you'll see. You see how this says tornado damage threat catastrophic. Basically, a tornado emergency is only issued if the Weather Service has credible eyewitnesses on the ground seeing a large, violent tornado. And this, we get, I hate to say it, but we get, 20 tornado events around here a year. And most tornadoes are not these big bad, EF3, EF4, EF5 tornadoes. But when you get a tornado emergency, generally speaking, you're going to have a more large, violent tornado that is capable of not only doing damage, but it also poses an immediate threat to life and property, unlike vast majority of the tornado warnings issued. Again, most tornado warnings verify and are serious. But when you start getting, catastrophic type damage, that's what prompts the Weather Service to issue a tornado emergency. And that's what we're seeing here in parts of northeastern Autauga County, Alabama. Here's Autauga County here. This is Montgomery County, Elmore County, Coosa, and Chilton. And so Chilton County involved in the tornado warning down here near the Coosa River. Same thing in Coosa County and northern Elmore County. So again, a rare tornado emergency in place for northeastern Autauga County. Back over to LD1, we do not have any active tornado emergencies or tornado warnings for any part of South Alabama or Northwest Florida, but we do have ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings. Clark, northern Monroe, southern Wilcox, southern Monroe, southwestern Conecuh, western Escambia, Alabama, and northern Baldwin under the gun from severe thunderstorms. To get a severe thunderstorm warning, what does that mean? It means you get winds in excess of 58 miles per hour. That's kind of a magic number when you start to see trees falling and that sort of thing. And so we could have some trees coming down in parts of southern Monroe and western Escambia, Alabama, along with central Clark County. So multiple warnings in effect at this point. What else you got for me? All right. Current time 1:06 p.m. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson, joined alongside Bentley Martin. It has been a long day, very long day for our friends in central Alabama. We had multiple tornadoes in parts of Greene, Hale, and now Dallas and Autauga counties, and I think there actually were a few other tornadoes that I can't remember. I think Winston County had a tornado warning this morning. I know there was some damage in Winston County for sure, but again, tracking these two severe thunderstorms. Let's go over to the radar scope source. I want to zoom in on this southern supercell thunderstorm. This could be prompting damaging straight line winds right here coming into areas near the Alabama Highway 21 corridor. If you live within, say, 5 miles of Huxford Elementary School, this is not a tornado warning, so there's no need to, hunker down and put on a helmet necessarily, but you don't want to be out driving in this. And so Huxford Elementary School sits right about here, and this severe thunderstorm is going to be moving into areas near Huxford and the school within the next 5 to 10 minutes. And so you may have, you're going to have loud thunder if you haven't already, heavy rain, maybe winds up to 60 miles per hour as this storm moves in. And you know what? The Weather Service has actually just upgraded this, and they are calling this a considerable damage threat with this signature. And what that means is you could have 70 to 80 mile per hour winds in this severe thunderstorm warning. And you know, that's what we've been advertising all week. You've got to take these severe thunderstorm warnings seriously today. Even if you're not under a tornado warning. Let's go back over to LD1. I want to zoom in on this storm in western Escambia County, Alabama. Again, just to get your geographical bearings straight, Atmore sits just off this screen. I'll zoom out and include that. There's Atmore. This is Alabama Highway 21. Interstate 65 is here. This is Alabama Highway 59. And so this severe thunderstorm could be producing damaging straight line winds up to 70 miles per hour coming into Huxford, Uri, and areas near the state park right there on 21 near Little River over the next 5 minutes. No driving at this point on Alabama Highway 21 near Huxford or near McCullough, Porch, near Fountain Prison, near Holman Prison, and areas near Wind Creek Casino points back to the north, all the way back up to McGargle and Goodway in Monroe County. This is a severe thunderstorm that means business. Again, up to 70 mile per hour winds over the next few minutes. While we look at that, let's go back up to our storm in Clark County and Bentley. I see that we've actually got something we're going to go to on LD2 in just a minute, so if you'll be ready for that. This is another separate severe thunderstorm that could be producing 60 to 70 mile per hour winds coming into Grove Hill, Fulton, Sandflat, Springfield, Cyrene, areas near Watley, the Old Line Road, which is County Highway 35, I believe, right here in Clark County, Packers Bend, Monroe Intermediate School, also involved in this severe thunderstorm warning. Again, gusty winds could have hail up to quarter size as well. Let's go to LD2. This is just something that we've got to hit real quick because this is a new tornado emergency that has just been issued for parts of northern Elmore and southern Coosa counties. This is a violent situation here, and the call to action is one that we tell you to call folks, text folks, tag folks in the comments below, but when you get a tornado emergency, that means that the threat to life is substantial. Keep in mind, less than 1% of all tornado warnings are ever declared tornado emergencies. And so southern Coosa, northern Elmore counties in central Alabama are under the gun from this tornado emergency. And there's a large violent tornado down. There's no doubt about it right here. Deatsville, be sheltered. This is going to come up toward Alex City in the Lake Martin. If you know someone in Alex City, Alexander City, Alabama, or Lake Martin, or Dadeville, or even Jackson's Gap in Tallapoosa County, tornado emergency just to the southwest of there. I'm calling them now and putting them on notice. This is as violent of a situation as you ever see in the weather world, and folks in Alexander City need to be getting ready. Let's go back over to LD1, go back to our local area. Again, tracking this storm in Clark County, this is a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning. And so let's take down that banner because we've been tracking that tornado emergency up in central Alabama. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Clark. And let's go back to our storm in Escambia, Alabama, because this one certainly means business. The Weather Service calling this a considerable damage threat. Yeah, there it is. Considerable damage threat here from this severe thunderstorm that's moving to the east at about 45 miles per hour, 70 mile per hour wind gusts on the leading edge of this thing at Huxford, at Uri, McCullough, back down to the prisons, back down to Porch. And let's see if the Weather Service, they're continuing to include parts of northern Baldwin and southern Monroe counties in that as well. And so the Weather Service believes that we could have 70 mile per hour wind gusts coming into Uri, Huxford, and areas near Vocation over the next few minutes. Bentley, it's now 1:12 p.m. Have you seen anything in the way of damage reports that need to be passed along?
I did just hear from my daughter-in-law that a neighborhood in Selma was destroyed.
Yeah, and unfortunately that is from that same thunderstorm in currently entering Elmore and Coosa counties, and I believe it. I mean, I tell you, That storm that went through Selma when we were coming on the air about an hour ago was moving right over Selma. And I think really the northern and northwestern parts of Selma kind of took the brunt of the damage. But Selma, Alabama in Dallas County has taken a direct hit from a large, violent tornado that apparently continues to be on the ground in the central part of the state, coming into Elmore and Coosa counties. Tell you what, I'm going to practice what I preach for a minute, and I've got a cousin who lives in Alex City. I'm going to say tracking a violent, large tornado near Coosa River to your west. Watch it in all caps, because again, you know, these things save lives. You know, if you have a relative in Alex City, Alabama, Lake Martin, Deatsville, currently under the gun from that tornado emergency, you could save a life. And so you could be the hero. Text them if you know someone in those areas that I just called out. Northern Elmore, Southern Coosa, Deatsville, Alex City, Lake Martin. All those folks just, you know, need to be on guard. No tornado warning, by the way, for Tallapoosa as of yet, Tallapoosa County. But let's go over to LD1, just because we have LD2, just because we have no active tornado warnings locally. Tornado emergency continues for Southern Coosa and Northern Elmore. Look at that. You see that hook? That is likely a large, violent, damaging tornado basically straddling the Elmore-Coosa County line in parts of central Alabama. We'll zoom in real tight. And this is south of Rockford, very near Rockford. Just something that is just horrible. You hope you never ever see that. What I hope happens, and again, hope is not a plan, we have an active tornado emergency, but what I hope happens is this cell is kind of absorbed by this main line of thunderstorms as it continues pushing off to the east. That would be kind of a best case scenario. Hopefully that kind of weakens this thing on out as it comes into Tallapoosa County and into the remainder of Elmore. Let's go back over to LD1 as we continue to track these storms in South Alabama and Northwest Florida. As of 1:15 p.m., we have no active tornado warnings for any part of South Alabama or Northwest Florida. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson, joined alongside Bentley Martin. And this cell in areas near Uri and Huxford means business. All right, the Weather Service has flagged this with a considerable damage threat. We'll zoom in on that one in a minute. We note that we've got another cell that's developing down here in southern Mobile County. Let's zoom in on that. The Weather Service has put out a special weather statement for this potentially developing supercell storm near Irvington, near this is going to be near Theodore in the next few minutes. Navco, Tillman's Corner, DIP, areas out here near St. Elmo involved in that as well. Heavy rain is the concern, but we're going to have to watch this because that could be another separate developing storm in southern Mobile County. Let's go back into our storm here near Uri and Huxford, because I wouldn't be shocked, Bentley, if over the next few minutes you started getting some damage reports back here near Boonville, Lottie, Rabun, McCullough, and areas near Syrange as well, as this storm means business. We could have upwards of 70-mile-per-hour winds over the next few minutes coming into Vocation, Goodway, Barnett's Crossroads, Wallace, even Range and Repton are involved in this polygon as well. Severe thunderstorm warning polygon for parts of southern Monroe, southwestern Conecuh, and for western Escambia, Alabama. You got something to pass along? All right. 1:17 p.m. Again, just watching our feeds very carefully as we continue to track these supercell thunderstorms. The hope over the next few hours is that the better dynamics of this weather system continue to lift away, and we begin to see more of a what we call a unidirectional wind flow as opposed to these curved photographs in through here. Basically, we don't want to see the air changing in terms of the wind direction with height. That's essentially what causes tornadoes, and we've had a lot of that today over parts of central Alabama. But the hope is that the better dynamics will continue to lift out to the north, and we are simply left with these scattered thunderstorms that are under severe limits. Now, right now, you've got 2 in our area that are above severe limits. One near Uri and Huxford coming into Vocation, one near Grove Hill and areas near Fulton coming into places like Cyrene and the Old Line Road in Clark County. But hopefully some of these continue to kind of weaken over the next few hours. We will continue to obviously keep you posted every step of the way. Some good news to pass along. We can give you an all clear for the day. You are done with severe weather if you are in Choctaw County, Alabama. So all clear and Marengo County. Choctaw and Marengo, you're done. DONE with severe weather for the day. I know they're still shaded in the yellow tornado watch, but you are done with severe weather for the day in Choctaw and Marengo counties. Let's see if we can check on temperatures real quick and see where our cold front is. Cooler air is going to move into our region over the next 24 hours. You can see that temperatures are already plummeting back here near the Mississippi River. We've got 50 degrees near Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Compare that to 75 on this mid-January day near Pensacola. And so that's one of the reasons we've got all these issues today is the air is very buoyant. Air parcels rise on a day like today, and you get these big bad thunderstorms that produce damaging straight-line winds and tornadoes. Bentley, the good news is I don't really see anything that would suggest an imminent tornado threat, although we note that the Weather Service believes that this storm near Huxford could be producing damaging straight-line winds. Have you had any reports over the last few moments? Good. Hopefully we'll keep it that way as we are now at 1:19 p.m. And we certainly want to thank everyone who's taken time in the Red Zone Weather app, on Facebook, on Twitter to send in pictures. We can't show every one of those, obviously, but we certainly thank you for everything that we're seeing in terms of ground truth reports from across the region. Let's go back up to our storm in Clark County because this one also means business. We could have damaging straight line winds up to 60 miles per hour coming into areas near the Old Line Road, Watley. If you live near the Norfolk Southern Railroad track, which is on the eastern side of Highway 43, obviously the weather is pretty nasty at this point. And I see that we're getting this is going to be, we'll deal with this later. This is a new tornado watch that's going to be required for parts of southeast Alabama. And so a new tornado watch is coming for southeast Alabama. And I think, yeah, they don't have a tornado watch at this point. And so I don't know for sure if the new tornado watch is going to include Okaloosa or Walton counties, but a new tornado watch is coming for southeast Alabama. That's just now coming on the board. Tell you what, let's go back over to LD2 because the Weather Service in Birmingham continues to flag this situation in southern Coosa County as a tornado warning, or excuse me, tornado emergency at this point. This is a tornado emergency. And let me check on that one as well. I know we've got a lot of folks interested in Lake Martin. Yeah, that thing is hanging on. I mean, it is really hanging on. And let's go back. Yeah, so we're still on LD2. You're probably going to get a tornado warning in northern Tallapoosa County, including areas like Lake Martin, near Alex City, including a chunk of the U.S. Highway 280 corridor over the next 5 minutes. I mean, this signature, in fact, you can take me over there to the radar scope source and I'll show you real quick. That right there is a tight tornado signature, and this is moving just like that. Let's play it in motion. Again, this is the only tornado warning in the whole state at this point. And you can see this thing is riding just like that. There's Lake Martin, by the way. This is Tallapoosa County. This is Elmore down here. This is Coosa here. This is going to be an issue for Alex City, Jackson's Gap, maybe even Dadeville, all right? So putting you on notice in areas south of Alex City, near Lake Martin, this could be a violent tornado coming into Tallapoosa County over the next few minutes. Let's go back over to LD1. We've got some more photos and videos coming in. Let me see if I can get some of those queued up. Yeah, this is a really good view. If you will take me, let's do the iPad source. This is going to be from Roger Chapman, and this is the current view in that severe thunderstorm warning in Goodway, Alabama. And so you're seeing very gnarly looking skies there. This is looking into that storm Look how dark the sky is. I mean, this is the kind of thing that you're going to see on a day like today with these supercell thunderstorms that continue to move generally from southwest to northeast back over to LD1, our main radar source here. And the image that you just saw was taken presumably, I would bet that was taken right before this storm moved into Goodway. That was from our Red Zone Weather sponsor, Roger Chapman and Goodway Refining and Longleaf Energy. We certainly want to thank him for that photo and for Goodway for being a Red Zone Weather sponsor. That refinery is right in through here out near Huxford. And so southern Monroe and western Escambia under the gun from this severe thunderstorm warning with this storm that has moved in from northern Baldwin County. And again, I suspect that photo was taken right there at the refinery looking back to the west. You saw how dark the skies were. Let's show that image one more time on the iPad source, please. And again, that's the kind of views that you're going to get today. Just gnarly skies. Hopefully, we don't have any more tornado warnings back over to LD1. But on a day like today, you may get a brief tornado that doesn't last very long. And like we always say, if a tornado affects you, it's a big deal. And so at this point in South Alabama and Northwest Florida, we do not have any tornado warnings in our part of the state. But I tell you, that thing in Coosa County is just, that is a nasty, violent tornado. And that thing is going to be very near Alexander City over the next few minutes. Again, just texting my folks in Alex City to let them know that, again, we're tracking this storm in Coosa County. But again, the reason we are here is not because of that. It's because of this storm in western Conecuh, southern Monroe, and we've got this storm in northern Clark County out near the Old Line Road, Nettleboro, Cyrene right here. Could have upwards of 60-mile-per-hour winds coming into Packers Bend over the next few minutes. I had the privilege of being at Monroe Intermediate School several weeks ago, and if you didn't know this, you have to go through Clark County to get to that school in Packers Bend. About 5 years ago, there used to be a ferry that actually went over the Alabama River out of Monroe County into this part of the county, Monroe County, near Packers Bend that serviced that school, but that ferry is now gone. And so what happens is the students that go to that Monroe County school at Packers Bend at Monroe Intermediate, they actually feed back into Clark County High School in Grove Hill. And so if you know that resonates with you, if you are in these areas that I'm talking about, Packers Bend, Chance, Nettleboro, areas north of Claiborne Lock and Dam on the Alabama River, be inside and away from windows as we could have upwards of 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts coming in from the west. Let's go back down to our storm here in Escambia, Alabama and Huxford, because the main part of the storm has now passed to the east. This supercell storm could be producing large hail up to quarter size as well coming into Range and Repton. What, have you got something for me? Any damage reports that you're seeing over the last few minutes? And look, you know, these storms are becoming more scattered in nature, whereas across the central part of the state, there's more of a line of storms ongoing. This is the back edge of the thunderstorms today. And so the air out ahead of this line is unstable and supportive of strong to severe thunderstorms. And so what that means is Mobile, Pensacola, Bruton, Atmore, Crestview, Milton, Pace, Andalusia, Opp, Greenville, all those areas are still in the unstable sector. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning to tell you about. This is going to be a continuation of that storm that is in Huxford and Wallace, coming into Wallace right now. This is going to be a new severe thunderstorm warning that includes the following places that I call out. So if I call you out, you're now under a severe thunderstorm warning, and that one's going to be on the board until 2:15 p.m. Evergreen, Range, Repton, Lenox, Belleville, Castleberry, Appleton, London, Sandcut, Brooklyn, Franklintown, Jay Villa. You've also got areas near Paul, Melrose, Cohasset Creek, areas near the Evergreen Country Club, the city of Evergreen, Fairview, back down I-65, all involved in this new severe thunderstorm warning until 2:15 p.m. This does include places on I-65 from exit 69, which is your Flomaton-Wallace exit, all the way back up to exit 101, which is the Owassa exit. And so no travel is advised on Interstate 65 from Flomaton all the way back up to Owassa, just north of Evergreen. So that would include exits 77, which is the Bruton exit, exit 83, which is the Castleberry-Lenox exit, exit 93, which is the Evergreen-Monroeville exit, and exit 96, which is the Evergreen-Midway exit. And so all those exits, if you are near a gas station or convenience store, perhaps you're traveling on Interstate 65, you need to pull over. There's a great place to pull over right there at Evergreen. You can stop at the new Conecuh Sausage facility right there at exit 96. There's a Zaxby's, there's a Wendy's, all those places right there at exit 96. Same thing at exit 93. Stop at the Love's truck stop there on the western side of the interstate. Get you a cup of coffee. I had one just a few weeks ago. And so severe thunderstorm moving in from the west could have damaging straight line winds up to 70 miles per hour. Some good news to pass along. We can give you an all clear if you are at Huxford. Now, yes, you've got heavy rain. Same thing at Uri. Same thing at Chrysler and Northern Baldwin. Now out of the severe thunderstorm warning. This is strictly going to be an issue coming into far northern Escambia, near Wallace, near Appleton, but for much of southern Conecuh County. That's kind of the area of main concern as this storm continues trucking along to the east as of 1:29 p.m. Let's go back up to our storm in Clark County. This also does include Coy, Veredenburg, and also much of southern Wilcox counties in South Alabama, and also far northern Monroe, Beatrice, Franklin, Scratch Ankle, Veredenburg, Buena Vista, Packers Bend, involved in this severe thunderstorm warning for far northern Monroe. It has nothing to do with the city of Monroeville, and so really Monroeville's kind of lucked out so far. Northern Monroe and southern Monroe under the gun from these warnings, but Monroeville, Mexie, Ollie, also areas near Tunnel Springs and Peterman, so far you have been just fine. Look, you know the drill. Longtime viewers and readers know, if I'm not talking about you, that's a good thing. We've had, I've seen some comments over on the YouTube side of things. If we're not, talking about your town, it's not that we're ignoring you. It's that, we have pressing warnings to discuss, all right? And so if we're not talking about you, it's not a slight against you or anything like that, but we have to focus on folks in the danger zone. And speaking of that, let's go back over to LD2. We have a new tornado emergency, and this is going to be a serious call to action for Tallapoosa County. Alexander City, Alabama. If you know someone in Alex City, you need to be sheltered in Alex City. If you know someone in Alex City, call them, text them, tag them. This is as serious of a situation as you ever see in the weather world. Same thing in Dadeville and Jackson's Gap. Same thing at Lake Martin, all right? Lake Martin, Tallapoosa County, tornado warning. Very, very serious stuff here. And this is a confirmed large tornado that's about to be on the western flank of Lake Martin coming into the U.S. Highway 280 corridor. Does not matter where you are in Alex City. I don't care where you are. If you're in Alexander City, Alabama, you be sheltered. Same thing at Jackson's Gap. This also does include New Site and Daviston. Daviston is in the far northeastern corner of Tallapoosa County. If you know someone that would be there, call them, text them, tag them in the comments below as we have a serious situation, tornado emergency in place for parts of Coosa and Tallapoosa counties in central Alabama. And Bentley, I think as long as we've been doing this over the last few years, I don't think we have ever seen a series of tornado emergencies like what we're seeing here. Just to clarify this point one more time, most tornado warnings verify and produce a tornado. But when you start getting a tornado emergency, what that means is this is like 0.1% of all tornado warnings. This is a large, violent, confirmed tornado on the ground doing serious damage that is an immediate, significant threat to life and property. And that's what we're seeing in parts of central Alabama, in parts of Coosa and Tallapoosa counties. And so Lake Martin, Alexander City, Dadeville, Jackson's Gap, New Site, Daviston, be sheltered. Let's go back over to LD1 because we're based in Bruton, Alabama, and South Alabama and Northwest Florida. and we've got severe thunderstorm warnings down this way. We do not, thankfully, have any active tornado warnings for South Alabama or Northwest Florida, but I'm just so concerned about our folks in Alex City. In fact, I tell you, I've just got to stop and do something real quick. Practicing what I preach. Again, you can be the hero. These things save lives. If you know someone at Alexander City, Wind Creek State Park, Daviston, New Site, Dadeville, Jackson's Gap, Lake Martin. If you know someone that would be up there, maybe on a vacation in mid-January, let them know there's a large, violent tornado on the ground doing damage in those areas. 1:33 p.m. on this Thursday, January 12th. And again, I'll be honest with you. If you would have told me yesterday that we were going to have, 5 tornado emergencies in central Alabama, I probably would have called you crazy. This event has overperformed to the max across parts of central Alabama today. And there was some suspicion that we'd have 1 or 2 tornado warnings down this way where we are in South Alabama and Northwest Florida. And that's kind of been the expectation fulfilled so far. Speaking of that, let's give a few all clears out. Let's give some good news. All of Marengo, Choctaw counties in West Alabama, you are done with the severe weather threat for the day. You can go about your business. Same thing in Wayne County, Mississippi. You are done. You're behind the line. Same thing in Thomasville. Done. All clear for the day in Thomasville. Coffeyville, Zimco, Campbell, Woods Bluff, Chatham, Milry, Yarbo, St. Stephen's, Frankville. All those areas are behind the main line of storms. What you got?
I just sent you a picture of some damage inside.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and look, that's not going to be able, we can't show that on the air, unfortunately, but we are seeing major structural damage in Selma, Alabama. There has been a catastrophic tornado strike in the heart of historic Selma, specifically out there, I think on the northwest side of town. And I tell you, that is just something you hope you never ever see. And that same storm, let's go back up to that, because again, we do have these storms in Conecuh County and Clark and Monroe counties. Yeah, and look, we're going to have to watch this, because let's go into that storm quickly into Conecuh before we go back up to our tornado emergency in Tallapoosa, because the Weather Service is suggesting that this notable lightning increase could be kind of a precursor, per se, to the storm strengthening again. And so what that means is they're watching this thing like a hawk. I mean, they've got all their eyes on this storm in Conecuh County. And we may get a new tornado warning downwind of this in just a few minutes. And so we're going to have to keep our coverage going here. Normally what we do when we don't have a tornado warning for South Alabama or Northwest Florida, we go back to covering storms in the Red Zone Weather app. And, we don't want folks to get so attuned to us being here during these severe thunderstorm warnings, because we get, a dime a dozen of these severe thunderstorm warnings in the middle of summer especially, but the call to action today is just so high because of what we've seen happen in central Alabama. Bentley, let's go back over to the radar scope source. Again, let's go back up to Tallapoosa County. Here is Alexander City. You see it on the map right here. This is Jackson's Gap. Lake Martin is right here, all right? So that right there is your large, violent tornado that has prompted this rare tornado emergency. So let's put up our tornado emergency banner, and I do want to show this, because that dot right there, that you see that gray and black and blue, that is a large violent tornado happening just south of Alexander City, Alabama. This is going to cross 280 right here, cross Lake Martin. This is at Wind Creek State Park, all right, in Tallapoosa County, Alabama. And I realize, this is kind of out of our area to the north, but we know that we have folks from this area that are very interested in Lake Martin and Alex City. Tell you what, let me zoom out on our iPad view, and you'll see this thing, this thing has just maintained itself, crossing from Coosa County into Tallapoosa County. I realize to a 99% of folks watching, if you're not a radar meteorologist like me, this probably looks like a bucket of spilled paint. But as you're watching that blue dot just be consistent just like that, that tells me that there is a large, violent tornado doing damage now in Tallapoosa County. This is, again, the rarest of the rare. We've got a tornado emergency back over to LD2 in progress for parts of Tallapoosa County, Alabama, about to cross Highway 280, probably just to the north of Dadeville, near Jackson's Gap, near Alex City. If you're at Lake Martin, specifically near Wind Creek State Park, be sheltered in a reinforced concrete room near the center of the structure. Helmets on. Put on a helmet. Tornado emergency does also include Daviston and New Site up here in the far northeastern corner of Tallapoosa County. Let's go back over to LD1, the Weather Service in Mobile, watching this storm in Conecuh County with great intent, because they are noting that this storm is broadly rotating, and they're noting that the rotation is increasing to the point that a tornado warning may be required over the next few minutes for parts of Conecuh County. And so putting you on notice, Castleberry, Lenox, Evergreen, Fairview, Belleville, Franklintown, J Villa, Old Sparta, also areas out here near El Pond. You may get a tornado warning over the next few minutes. We're watching this very carefully as of 1:39 p.m. Have you seen anything locally? I know we're getting a ton of different things coming in from central Alabama, and our thoughts and prayers certainly going to be with the folks who have been affected by apparently this large tornado that moved through Selma, crossed into Watauga County, crossed into then Elmore County, then Coosa, and now Tallapoosa. So this has been a long track, violent tornado across central Alabama over the last few hours. Again, thank you to everyone who is sending in photos from across the region. We certainly appreciate that.
Do you have any info on anything happening at Oxford? So I'm getting a couple people asking about possible tornado.
Yeah, I just checked our app source as well to see if we had any damage reports there. I don't see anything there, which is good. But I wouldn't be shocked if we had some trees down in Huxford. Now, I have had no confirmed reports of that, just to be forthright with you. But this storm, ramped up to the point where it likely was producing 70 to 80 mile per hour winds when it was moving through Uri, Little River State Park, Huxford, back down to Porch. You kind of see that there on radar. And this storm is ramping up again. There's no doubt. This could be producing quarter-sized hail right now near Range, Repton, Belleville, Lenox, Sandcut, areas near Conecuh County Highway 6 as well. Could be having large hail and gusty winds up to 70 miles per hour. Let's check on this polygon real quick. And you see they've actually added the tornado possible tag here. And so this kind of represents a ramp up per se of what we've got going on here in terms of this storm continuing to move off to the east and really ramping up over the last few minutes. But no, I've had no confirmed reports anywhere across our region just yet. Some good news to pass along quickly. Let me zoom out on our primary source here. The tornado watch has been canceled for Choctaw and Wayne counties. And so what you're seeing here, the Weather Service is kind of giving this a little bit of time. We've already given an all clear to all parts of those counties, but the tornado watch is now done for Wayne and Choctaw counties. That's off the board. And what you'll see over the next few hours as this back edge of the line of storms moves through your location, you will get an all clear. So far, these storms in northern Mobile County, George County, Mississippi, extending back into Jackson and Harrison counties, and even southern Washington County in Alabama have been cooperative. That's kind of a rare statement these days. Washington County, for whatever reason, gets more warnings than anyone else, but so far today in Washington County, you've been in good shape. Now, we'll continue to watch those storms moving through Calvert, McIntosh, areas out here near Fruitdale, Deer Park, Vinegar Bend, all those areas in southern Washington County under the gun right now from a loud storm, but there's no warning in Washington County. Same thing, by the way, I know I haven't talked a lot about Northwest Florida. If you're in Northwest Florida, you are fine. Pensacola, Destin, Navarre, Pace, Milton, doesn't matter where you are, no warnings for any part of Northwest Florida as of 1:42 p.m. You do have an ongoing tornado watch for Escambia and Santa Rosa counties, but no warnings as of 1:43 p.m. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's just being issued, and this is going to be an extension of this warning up here in Wilcox and Monroe counties. It's going to look something like this, all right? So we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning that's coming on the board for Wilcox, Butler, and northern Monroe counties. This is going to be in effect until 2:30 local time. And there it is. There's your new polygon. And so this is a new severe thunderstorm warning that does include Greenville, Daisy, Forest Home, areas out here in the northern part of Butler County near Fort Dale, Oak Hill, Pineapple, Rosebud, Camden, Veredenburg, Coy, Buena Vista. Beatrice is just out, all right? McWilliams is in. And so all those areas now under a severe thunderstorm warning until 2:30 p.m. Let's go back over to our concerning storm here in Conecuh County. This one could be producing large hail up to quarter or even $half size. That is a developing hail core right here south of Belleville, coming into areas near I-65, near Fairview, near Evergreen, north of Castleberry, north of, I'm always hesitant to say this word because I always botch it, and I'm sure I'll catch some comments about this. I believe it's pronounced Weyerhaeuser in Castleberry. This hail core is going to pass just to the north of there. I mean, it's going to be close, but from that area in Castleberry all the way back up to the Evergreen Airport, which sits right here, Middleton Field, could have large hail up to quarter or even $half size over the next few minutes. We've got a video coming in, and if you will, please do not change it yet, but do you have my 16 MacBook up as a source down there? Are you able to see that? You do? Okay. This video is coming in from the Facebook side of things. Yeah, and I'm getting a report. Highway 21 in Huxford is apparently closed, all right? So we've had damage in Huxford, and this was presumably due to damaging straight line winds. But I'm getting a report from a credible source that Highway 21, somewhere in through here, I don't know where specifically, is closed. And so keep that in mind if you have travel plans between Monroeville and Atmore or Monroeville and Porch over the next 30 to 45 minutes. Highway 21, Alabama Highway 21 is closed right now, presumably due to trees falling down on the road. Goodness. This thing in Selma, man, I tell you, that thing, really, really, really serious stuff. Yeah, and Bentley, if you will, let me see if I can get that source up, because we've got, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that on that particular source. While we watch this storm in Conecuh County, what I'm doing, again, we have no active tornado warnings in South Alabama or Northwest Florida as of 1:46 p.m. Thankfully, we do have a tornado emergency or tornado warning in progress in Tallapoosa County, and we'll get there in just a minute. This is going to be a view of that Selma tornado. If you will, take me over to the iPad view. This is the same storm that's prompting that tornado warning in Tallapoosa County. It's now moved, whatever that is, 100 miles to the northeast. That's the tornado as it was coming into Selma. And so that looks, very, very serious. Back over to LD1, please. And I want to check on a few other things we've got going on here.
Lost power in Conecuh County, Castleberry County Road 23.
Did you say 23?
Yes.
23, okay, we'll get to that in just a minute. Here's a view of the current storm. This is going to be looking southwest toward exit 93 from Evergreen. And yeah, this is kind of a view of this storm coming in. This is going to be from Audra Coven. Let's take the iPad full, if we can do that. Audra Coven sends in this view looking southwest into this storm from Evergreen, and I believe it. I tell you what, if you will, take me over. So I want you to keep this view in your mind. Let's go back over to LD1. Audra is presumably right in through here, looking into this storm, this hail core coming into Evergreen. You're about to have some large hail near Fairview, near exit 93, near exit 96, downtown Evergreen, large hail, gusty winds likely over the next few minutes. Again, watching this storm in Conecuh County, we also should mention we have a separate severe thunderstorm warning for parts of far northern Monroe and Wilcox counties here in South Alabama. Veredenburg, Buena Vista, Camden, Pineapple, Rosebud, McWilliams, Hines Farm, Hughes, Oak Hill, all involved in this severe thunderstorm warning. So we don't want to forget about our folks in Wilcox and northern Monroe counties under the gun from this severe thunderstorm warning. But the imminent concern locally is here in Conecuh County. This is a hail core that is coming into Evergreen. Yeah, and the Weather Service in Birmingham continues to call this an observed tornado in Tallapoosa County. All right, so an observed tornado. Let's go back over to LD2, and I do want to hit on that briefly. This is a dangerous situation for Lake Martin, for areas near Daviston and New Site. And look, that polygon has actually been trimmed back, and it looks like Daviston and New Site are going to miss the core of this. But look at, you can kind of see a circulation even on reflectivity right here now north of US Highway 280 in central Alabama. Let's see if we can see that on velocity. Yeah, let's go back over to the radar scope source, please. And you'll see, same storm, there's your tornado. So this is now past Alexander City. All clear for Alexander City, Alabama. All clear for Jackson's Gap right there on Highway 280. That possible tornado has now lifted to the north, and this is the only tornado warning that we have in the whole state of Alabama for parts of Tallapoosa County, Alabama. And you see that this polygon has not been updated, but this tornado is moving a bit more to the east, and it looks like this is going to pass south of New Site and Daviston. This has now crossed Lake Martin, and this is moving off to the northeast. Back over to LD1, tracking a severe thunderstorm capable of producing damaging straight-line winds and large hail coming into Evergreen. Hillcrest High School, Evergreen Elementary School, areas near downtown, areas near, say, Zaxby's, Conecuh Sausage, Piggly Wiggly, areas near exit 96. Large hail possible imminently as this storm continues pushing in from the southwest. And that thing is rotating. There's no doubt about it. Let's go back over to the radar scope source. Same storm right there. This is a large, broad rotation, all right? This is not an imminent tornado threat at this moment, but this storm is rotating like a top. In other words, you see the mesocyclone, large mesocyclone here visible on radar, and it's rotating as it continues to move off to the northeast. And that's why we got a new tornado warning to tell you about. This is going to be a tornado warning for Conecuh County, Alabama. And so let's go back over to LD1. This is exactly what I was talking about a minute ago, and the Weather Service believes that this is ramping up to the point where we could have a tornado on the ground in parts of Conecuh County. So the current time is now 1:51 p.m. I'm meteorologist Spinks Meganson, joined alongside executive producer Bentley Martin, and we are entering into a phase of this where we could have a tornado down in parts of Conecuh County. This is going to be a tornado warning that's in effect until 2:30 at local time, and this is now a tornado warning, meaning we need you to take shelter if you are in Conecuh County, all right? Specifically in this warning polygon near Old Sparta. This does not include Evergreen, all right? And I tell you, that's one of those wireless emergency alerts. We love to hear that sound because that means that the warnings are getting out. Now, I'm a little concerned because we're in Bruton and there is no tornado warning, all right? There is no tornado warning for any part of Escambia, Alabama. And we'll show you that in just a minute once I send out our app alert. There that goes. So let's first tell you who's involved in this tornado warning, because again, you just heard that wireless emergency alert, and I'm really grateful that we heard that, but we are in Bruton, and if you're in Bruton, you are not involved in this active tornado warning, all right? This does include parts of Conecuh and Covington counties, and so if I call you out, you need to be doing something about this. You need to be putting on a tornado helmet, and you need to be getting to the middle part of your house, away from windows and away from doors. So if I call you out, I should say, you are involved in this. Castleberry, Old Sparta, Jay Villa, Franklintown, areas near Johnsonville, Mount Union, Melrose, Cohasset Creek, parts of US Highway 84, east of the Evergreen Country Club, all the way back over to River Falls. No travel on Highway 84 from the Evergreen Country Club back over to River Falls. Same thing on Alabama Highway 55 extending from Brooks back down to River Falls. Absolutely no travel, as we have a new tornado warning that has just been issued. Bentley, have you had any damage reports over the last few minutes? Okay, yeah, so getting reports out of Monroe County, western Escambia, Alabama, that we've had power lines down in areas near Huxford. Alabama Highway 21 is closed near Huxford, and I'll show you that on the map in just a minute. We're getting set to go into our third hour of this nonstop coverage, so pardon me for taking a swig of water there, but just trying to manage and keep ahead of things here. Again, a new tornado warning has just come on the board for parts of Conecuh County, Alabama, and this does include Castleberry and areas near Jay Villa. You need to be sheltered if you are in Castleberry at this point. Again, kind of practicing what we preach. If you know someone in this zone south of Evergreen, near Nymph, near Old Sparta, near Jay Villa, Centerville, Franklintown, under the gun, could have a tornado in those areas over the next few minutes, moving just like that. Bentley, if you'll take me back over to the radar scope source, I want to show this on the velocity view. Again, just to get your geographical bearing straight, here's Escambia, Alabama. This is Monroe County. This is Conecuh County. Butler is here, and this is Covington County. Northern Covington County, near red level, is involved in this new tornado warning that's valid until 2:30 p.m. And so possible tornado is going to be right about here. You can kind of see it on the velocity view. That is a mesocyclone. In other words, that's the part of the thunderstorm in the middle to lower parts of the atmosphere that could have a tornado right under it south of Evergreen. And so this is pushing just like that, just a bit to the north of due east. And so on that trajectory, this is going to be very near Centerville and also south of the Evergreen Country Club, north of Conecuh County Highway 6, which is right down here. This is going to pass north of L Pond, all right? So back over to LD1, I can show you this in a better view. L Pond is out of the tornado warning. L Pond is right here. L Pond Church of Christ sits right here. Basically, from the L Pond Church of Christ back up to Evergreen, that's the part of Conecuh County under the gun from this tornado warning that's in effect until 2:30. Possible tornado is at Nymph and Jay Villa right here, pushing off just like that, just to the north of due east. We'll call that east-northeast. And the storm is moving at about 45 miles per hour. So this thing is wasting no time as it pushes off toward Covington County. And again, on that trajectory, this is going to cross US Highway 84 somewhere here near Mount Union, Herbert, near Cohasset Creek, near the county line, and come into areas near red level. If you are in red level, Alabama, or you know someone in red level, call them, text them, tag them in the comments below, as we could have a tornado coming in from the southwest. We would encourage no travel on Alabama Highway 55 from McKenzie back down to Andalusia just to be safe, as this tornado is going to be coming through that area in a matter of moments. And look, we'll give you an all clear when it's safe. We can do that at this point on Interstate 65. If you are, for whatever reason needing to go up 65 on this Thursday afternoon, you can do that at this point. Yes, you've got some heavy weather near Evergreen, but the tornado threat is now south and east of the interstate. And so we'll give you a clear to drive on 65. In 5 minutes, we'll be able to do that for US Highway 31 between Bruton and Evergreen. We're not able to do that just yet. Bentley, if you will, take me back over briefly. We've got a tornado warning in our part of the world, so we've got to stay focused on this. But I do want to hit, let's go over to LD2. We got a new tornado warning out of our area for parts of Chambers and Randolph counties. And what's happened here, this is actually a continuation of that same storm that hit Selma about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. It moved, basically all the way across central Alabama and affected areas near Lake Martin. We know a tornado happened near Lake Martin. Don't know if it crossed 280, but we know that this is basically near Daviston and areas just south of there. This has prompted a new tornado warning for parts of northern Chambers and far southern Randolph counties near Roanoke and Handley High School. And so this is going to be coming into Chambers over the next few minutes. Let's go back over to LD1. And I tell you, this supercell means business, all right? This is one of those situations that, you don't want to see, because this cell is quite isolated in nature. And tell you what, let's give you a wide shot of what's going on across the whole area. We came on, how long have we been going, Bentley? What's the time on that thing? Can you see it up there? No, that's all right. We came on, I think it was like 2 or 3 hours ago, I can't really remember. We had this tornado warning in parts of Mobile County. That's long gone. That's why we came on. And then the storm kind of weakened, but this is that same thunderstorm that has prompted a new separate tornado warning for parts of Conecuh and Covington counties in parts of south central Alabama. And so same storm that prompted the tornado warning for Conecuh and Covington, for Mobile and Baldwin, has now moved into Conecuh and Covington counties here. And we're seeing what could be a tornado very near the community of Jay Villa, Old Sparta, and Centerville right now. Same thing at Nymph. If you're at Nymph, Alabama, you need to be sheltered. Look at all the lightning in this storm. As I zoom out, the whole supercell is producing 500 plus strikes of lightning just in the last 5 to 10 minutes. And so that is, goodness, that's a ton of lightning as this continues to move off to the east-northeast at a fairly rapid clip. And I tell you, don't try to see this thing, all right? I'm getting some comments over on the YouTube side of things. Please do not try to see this tornado. I promise, without a shadow of a doubt, you are not going to be able to see this tornado. It is rain-wrapped. It is in the middle of that blob, and the rain, rates in through here are just copious. I mean, just unbelievably intense. And so you're not going to be able to see it. There's just no way with a signature like that. So don't risk it. Don't play with this thing. If you're at Mount Union, Herbert, Melrose, Cohasset Creek in Conecuh County, we need you to be sheltered. We'll zoom in a little bit tighter because your possible tornado is going to be right in through here, coming just like that. I was out in this area, gosh, it's been 5 or 6 years ago, doing the whole fossil hunting thing on the Sapulga and on Cohasset Creek. And, on a day like today, this morning, we had some sunshine around. And so there may be some folks out there doing that sort of thing. But if you know someone that would be doing that, or perhaps traveling on US Highway 84 from Evergreen back down to Andalusia, just call them and let them know we've got some heavy weather that could be quite intense with a tornado moving in from the southwest. Some good news to pass along. If you are at Castleberry, we'll give you an all clear. West of I-65 from this particular tornado warning, all clear. Lenox, Repton, Range, Belleville, even the city of Evergreen at this point. Evergreen, all clear from the imminent tornado threat. Now, I realize this polygon is super close, but the city of Evergreen, Alabama is now out of the tornado warning polygon. And so we will give you an all clear in Evergreen. All right, so you're done with the tornado warning in Evergreen. Yes, the weather's still bad. I realize that. But you don't have a tornado threat at this point in Evergreen. We have now passed the top of the hour. It is now 3 p.m. in the east. It's noon out west, just past 2 o'clock here in South Alabama and Northwest Florida, where we are in the middle of tornado warning coverage. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson, joined alongside Bentley Martin. The two counties that we have involved locally in a tornado warning are Conecuh and Covington. This is Conecuh County. This is Covington County. Andalusia is not involved in the tornado warning. Andalusia is out, all right? This storm is no doubt going to pass to the north of Andalusia. If you are in Gant, the town of Gant, which sits right here on US Highway 29, technically Strawn is in, all right? Technically Strawn is involved in the polygon, but that's about as far away from the actual tornado as you can get. And so if you're in Strawn, just kind of watch this carefully. Same thing at Gant Lake, again, just about as far from the actual tornado as you can get in the polygon. But if you're in the polygon, you know how we do. We treat the polygon with respect and we do something about it anytime you're under a tornado warning. Clearview, Gant, Gant Lake Dam, Dunn's Bridge, all involved in the tornado warning. Community of South, right here on Alabama Highway 55, Brooks, red level, all involved in the tornado warning. River Falls is out. If you're at River Falls down here on 84, you are out. Same thing at Heath. Kind of weird, but the top of the hill at Hilltop Barbecue is out. But you go down the hill, go down to the Gant Lake Dam at the power generation facility there at Power South, that area is in. And so just watching this situation in northern Covington County carefully, because you're going to get this storm next as it continues to move off to the east-northeast at about 45 miles an hour. And Bentley, you know the drill. If you see anything, certainly interrupt me. I am not seeing anything in the way of immediate photos from this. And look, we don't want you to go outside and get a photo. You're not going to see this tornado. There's no way. So don't try to see this thing. It's a mess. I mean, look at the blob on reflectivity behind me. This is a hail core, most likely, that could have a tornado embedded with it. Now, I tell you, this is a video that's coming in. This was, I believe this is going to be in western Escambia. Let's see if I can respond. Actually, I don't have a location on that. And look, you know, if you send in a photo or video on the social side of things, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, we love that, all right? We love being able to show your photos on air and share those in the Red Zone Weather app. We love it. We are so grateful and appreciative of that. But it really, you know, quite frankly, it doesn't mean anything unless you tell us where it is. I wish that, you know, we could kind of know, you know, where all these photos are. We just don't have that ability yet. But getting a ton of photos and videos in. And again, thank you for that. Let's go back over to LD2 briefly and hit this other warning. Tallapoosa is out. All clear for Tallapoosa County in terms of the tornado risk. Tornado warning continues for parts of Chambers and southern Randolph counties here in East Alabama. This is that cell that prompted the several tornado emergencies back here in Alex City and down in Selma. And so watching this storm now in East Alabama, about to cross the Chattahoochee River into Georgia, tornado warning, northern Chambers. Back over to LD1, this is the reason we are here, and this is an active tornado warning that continues for parts of Conecuh and Covington counties here in south central Alabama. Watch this cell. I want you to watch it from the start, because this was the same cell that prompted the tornado warning in northern Mobile and Baldwin counties. Now this has emerged into Conecuh and Covington counties, where we see an active tornado warning. Got a new severe thunderstorm warning to tell you about. This is going to be for parts of Butler, Conecuh, and Covington counties. And what I believe what's happening here, in addition to your tornado threat, the Weather Service is going to be warning for large hail up to quarter size and damaging straight line winds. So look, this is now kind of you've got all hazards on the plate at this point. You've got an imminent tornado threat near US Highway 84, and you've got large hail, damaging straight line winds, all being possible in the areas that we've been talking about in Conecuh and Covington counties. So again, your imminent tornado threat right now is at US Highway 84. Some good news to pass along. We'll give you an all clear at Old Sparta, Nymph, Centerville, Evergreen, and J Villa. All clear for Old Sparta, Nymph, Centerville, Evergreen Country Club, and the city of Evergreen. All clear. You are now back behind this tornadic supercell, and the tornado threat is clearly in the eastern part of Conecuh County out here on US Highway 84. This is Highway 84 that runs from Evergreen over to Andalusia. No travel at this point on US Highway 84 from Evergreen back over to River Falls. Same thing on US Highway 31. No travel from McKenzie back down to Castleberry. Damaging straight line winds, also a concern. Let's change the banner back to our tornado warning banner, because this is an ongoing kind of unique situation that we've got. Yes, we have a severe thunderstorm warning, but we also now have this tornado warning that's on the board until 2:30 local time for parts of Andalusia and Covington counties. Bentley's standing up. I'm having to move my legs since I've been standing for like 3 or 4 hours now. And again, tracking these tornadoes or tornado warning, I should say, in Conecuh County. Current time 2:09 p.m. And this is going to be a deal that exits out of Conecuh County in the next 5 to 10 minutes. And so we'll be able to give everyone in Conecuh County a tornado all clear in 5 to 10 minutes. Can't do that just yet. And if you're in Covington County, you are next in line to see this possible tornado crossing Cohasset Creek, Highway 84, going to be crossing Alabama Highway 55 from Brooks back down to River Falls near red level. And so the call to action right now, as of 2:09 p.m., if you are at red level or you know someone at red level Alabama, call them, as we have an imminent tornado threat coming in from the west. Bentley, if you'll take me back over to the radar scope source, please, ma'am. I want to show the velocity on this. Same geography here. Here's Evergreen back behind me. Here's Andalusia. So this is the stretch of 84. Here's your possible tornado coming into red level over the next few minutes. Some good news to pass along. Let's go back over to LD1 and I'll show you that Monroe County, Alabama, you are now out of the severe thunderstorm warning. And so we will give you an all clear in Monroe County, Alabama. You are DONE. You are done with the severe weather risk imminently anyway in parts of Monroe County. Can't completely give you a full all clear, as we do have some storms back here near the Delta, the Mobile-Tensaw River Delta in southern Clark and Washington, that are going to move into Uri over the next little bit. We'll have to watch those. I don't think those are going to be too problematic, but we'll watch it for the next few minutes just to be safe. But again, Monroe County, no more warnings at this point. Only tornado warning that we've got in the southern part of Alabama is happening in Conecuh and Covington County. And look, Andalusia, Opp, Florella, Wing, Rome, Carolina, Green Bay, Oneida, all those areas are out. You're out of the warning. You have no issues in those areas. I'm getting a report. Just getting a viewer report in from Little River. Little River, the community sits right here, and viewer report of nickel-sized hail in Little River. And so this storm may be strengthening in parts of northern Baldwin County. No tornado warning for Mobile or Baldwin County. The tornado warning is over here in Conecuh and Covington counties, but that storm is one to watch, and that's the reason, like I said, that we can't give Monroe County a full all clear just yet. You're looking at, again, Covington and Conecuh counties. Sorry, just trying to find our source here. Yeah, I keep getting videos from Selma. Selma has been torn up by this large, violent tornado. Just horrible, horrible damage. This is going to be from Uri in the last few minutes. This is from Carla Rainey, I believe is how you pronounce this name. And look, I'm the king of botching names. My name is Spinks, and so you don't, my name has been botched 400,000 times. I apologize if I'm botching your name. Carla Renee, let's go to the iPad source. This is the view at Uri right now. And there is no warning for Uri in southern Monroe County, but we've got another storm that's moving in from the southwest. And I tell you, let's go back over to LD1 and I'll show you that on radar quickly. That view is from Uri. Here's your storm coming in just like this. Uri is right here on Alabama Highway 21. There it is at the intersection of 21 and 59. Could have large hail and maybe damaging straight line winds as that storm continues to ramp up. Let's go back over to our storm here though in Covington County because this is going to be a tornado, possible tornado right in through here that's going to cross Alabama Highway 55, and this is going to cross the Sapulga River in Conecuh, really the county line between Conecuh and Covington counties over the next few minutes. Again, thank you to everyone who continues to send in these photos and videos from across the region. We certainly appreciate that very much. Let's do a wide view across the region and I'll show you the back edge of the thunderstorms today is currently crossing Monroe, southern Clark, southern Washington, and northern Mobile counties. All clear for all parts of Choctaw and Marengo counties, and we will be able to give an all clear to all parts of Washington and Clark counties over the next few minutes. We can't do that just yet because those storms in the southern part of the county, but we can give you an all clear in Marengo and Choctaw counties. No all clear just yet though for Covington and Conecuh. The Weather Service is going to continue to hold this tornado warning. Let's go back over to the radar scope source and I'll show you that this thing is basically going to be right in red level now, all right, in the next 5 minutes. This is rapidly coming up on red level. Let's do a probe on this. You see some of these numbers, 78, 73, 74 mile per hour winds. Keep in mind, this radar view is hitting this storm at probably 3,000 to 4,000 feet above the surface of the earth, but nonetheless, it won't take much to get some of those wind gusts down to the surface. And so even if you don't have a tornado at red level right now, you very well may have damaging straight line winds coming in with this storm into red level and River Falls, also under a severe thunderstorm warning. Back over to LD1. And I should mention as well, it looks like this thunderstorm, let's stay there for a second. This ongoing tornado warning in Chambers and Randolph counties has now prompted a new separate tornado warning for LaGrange, Georgia. All right, so this storm is about to cross the Chattahoochee River, go into Georgia, and we would tell you if you know someone in LaGrange, Georgia, southeast of Atlanta on Interstate 85, you need to call them and let them know we got a storm that's been producing a tornado on the ground for like 100 miles coming in from the southwest. This is Chambers County here, this is Randolph County, and Hogansville and LaGrange in Georgia, now under a tornado warning. Back over to LD1, closer to home, here's Covington County, this is Conecuh County, this is southern Butler County. All those areas are under this large, severe thunderstorm warning polygon, and in the middle of that, we have this ongoing tornado warning. Bentley, I'm getting some damage reports. We got limbs down, debris between the water tower and Hog Springs out near Sandcut. So let's kind of extrapolate this back and look. This is, in fact, I think we got a picture of that. Yeah, we do. So we'll get to that in just a minute. I'm going to send that quickly Tell you what, let's kind of stop this storm when, on radar that is, when we are seeing this damage happen, because I want to show it right there. You see this storm that prompted the severe thunderstorm warning for areas near Sandcut. This was at 1:39 p.m. We'll zoom in. Here's Sandcut. At that point that you see on radar, let's go over to the iPad view. It did this damage. You see that roof being peeled back there in the middle part of this house. You see kind of some shingles blown off. The good news is I don't see significant structural damage, but still, that's a big deal. If you get roof damage like that, let's go back over to LD1. So that's the type of damage that's happening with this thunderstorm. You could have roof damage. You could have trees down. We want to thank Elizabeth Godwin Bush for sending in that damaged photo. So thank you to Elizabeth Bush for relaying that information. Power out in Uri, including areas near J.U. Blacksher. Thank you to Carla Renee for that report. Getting in, tell you what, here's another one, Bentley. If you'll take me back over to the iPad source, getting several photos. This is from Chuck Merv. He sends in a ton of photos from NAS Pensacola, and we certainly want to thank him for that. But he, right now, is looking at this storm in Uri. This is the kind of sky that you're seeing, and there's some features in through here. There's nothing really discernible, but you can kind of see some, structure in that storm. It's going to get better defined as it moves towards him there in Uri. Back over to LD1. By the way, that is an unwarned storm. There's no warning out for Huxford or Uri, but just know you're going to get some nasty weather coming into Uri and Huxford over the next few minutes. So that's something to be aware of. We have this ongoing tornado warning, and we need to get back to that for northern Covington County. If you're in red level, south, Clearview, areas near Gant Lake, areas near the town of Gant, you're under a tornado warning, and we have a possible tornado at red level, potentially causing damage, moving in from the southwest, just like that. Could have some large hail with this storm as well, and there is a larger potential of damaging straight line winds with this storm all the way up to Industry. Industry is right here in southern Butler County. This is Okie Streak. All the way back down to Luango is really where you have your cutoff of this storm moving through. So this is a sizable supercell thunderstorm. Goodness. Bentley, let's pause for a minute. And again, we have this ongoing tornado warning for red level, Gant, Clearview, areas near Gant Lake and Dunn's Bridge. Let's go over to the iPad. I do want to show this. This is from Mika Paquette, I think is how that name is pronounced, and we certainly want to thank her for sending this in. That's Selma. I mean, that is, that's just horrible. And these are, I'm afraid, what are going to be many, many photos like this. This is from Selma, and so power lines down, insulation strung out everywhere, major structural damage. In Selma, back over to LD1, tracking this possible tornado in northern Covington County that continues to be an issue near red level. And by the way, again, we want to thank everyone for sending in photos. This is something I've got to personally address over the coming, months and years. I don't get to see these messages that come in on my personal Facebook account, but if you send them to the Red Zone Weather account, I do see them. And so we certainly want to thank everyone for sending in photos. This is going to be from Aaron Radford near Antioch Road, looking north and west towards Strawn. Let's take that full. Let's go to the iPad view. Looking into this storm, and again, it's hard to see because of these trees. That is the most classic Alabama severe weather photo I've ever seen because of, we're blessed down here with trees. We love trees, but trees are not helpful during these tornado situations. And again, we certainly want to thank Aaron for sending in that, Aaron Radford. Let's go back over to LD1. This is the view of the storm that we're looking at on radar right here. And again, we want to thank Aaron Radford for that photo. Getting a report that power's out in red level. I want to thank Mitchell Myers for sending that in. Again, power outage at red level. Often in these severe weather events, these power outage reports will come in before we get any damage photos. I am told that right now we've got one source on the ground in red level who says so far he hasn't seen anything, and he wishes to remain anonymous. But so far in red level, at least one source on the ground telling me that he has not seen anything in the way of an immediate tornado situation. But look, that kind of conflicts with the power outage report that we just got near red level. That often can mean that we've had some type of damage. Now, y'all know that it only takes one tree coming down on a power line to knock the power out in some of these areas, but nonetheless, if you're in red level, stay sheltered for the next few minutes as this thing has got to clear out to the northeast. Same thing at Gant, Clearview, Gant Lake, areas near all the way back up here to Dunn's Bridge as well, which is right there on the southern part of the lake. All these areas need to stay sheltered as we have a possible tornado coming in from red level. This is passing north of Andalusia. You have no issues right now, none whatsoever. If you're at Andalusia, Opp, Babby, you're fine, all right? No issues for those communities. This is an issue farther to the north, and it looks like this thing is gonna pass to the north of Strawn as well. Let's kind of zoom in on our map. Strawn is gonna be right in through there, and it looks like this possible tornado is gonna pass to the north of Strawn. Unfortunately for our friends at red level, it looks like they kind of took a direct hit from what could have been a tornado. We don't know for sure if a tornado was on the ground at red level, but it certainly is a possibility. And again, we know that there's at least some power outages in through here. Getting more photos in, and again, I want to thank everyone. We've had a slew of photos from this storm over the last few minutes. Yeah, and here's some more coming in. Again, it can't be stressed enough. If you're sending in a photo, please attach a note of where it is. All right, don't just send in a random photo. It's helpful, but it's not super helpful because we need geographical context. Bentley, if you'll take me over to the iPad, please. This is going to be a view at Dunn's Bridge. And I believe that this is going to be, that may be 29 right there. Let's look. I think we've got one more photo. Yeah. This is going to be looking to the west into this storm from the Dunn's Bridge area. And you can kind of see the dark sky in through there. Obviously, the tree line is preventing us from seeing anything at the surface. I want to thank Cale King for that photo. Let's go back over to LD1. Again, tracking this thing now in northern Covington County. One thing we need to do, if you are in any part of Conecuh County, Alabama, we'll give you an all clear from the imminent tornado threat. The imminent tornado threat in Conecuh County has come to a close. Now, I realize you've got your polygon that still goes over here to Paul and Melrose, but that's out, all right? You're done with the tornado threat at Paul and Melrose, as this has clearly now crossed into Covington County. So again, let me stress, all clear for Cohasset Creek, Mount Union, Paul, Melrose, Herbert, Highway 84 to the west of Cohasset Creek. You're done with the tornado risk. If you live in Conecuh County, Alabama, you are done with the tornado risk for now. Bentley, if you'll take me back over to the iPad view, this is the view at Andalusia, all right? This is on the bypass out there on the north side of town. There's the McDonald's, there's Wendy's. This is actually going to be looking more to the north and northeast, but you can kind of see how gnarly this storm looks. This is the bypass right here. You've got Golden Rule Barbecue that sits in that shopping center right there on the north side of 84, which is the bypass. You go on down the road a little bit, you get to Hook's Barbecue, you get to the automotive dealership, and you get to Zaxby's. I think we've got one more. Yeah, here's a better view of it. And this is that storm, all right? Andalusia is not involved in the tornado warning. You are not involved in any kind of warning if you're in the city of Andalusia, Alabama. Now, I realize the skies look gnarly, But, and you know, you can kind of see some scud in the background there, some lowerings in through there, but that probably is not the tornado. That probably is a scud cloud. Let's go back over to LD1, and we'll go back to our storm in Covington County because this is passing far to the north of Andalusia. And it looks like what the Weather Service is going to do in 2 minutes is allow this to go and expire, and it will simply be a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Covington County. Certainly want to thank Autumn Trammell for sending in those views from Covington County. So again, Autumn Trammell in Andalusia, those were her photos looking into this storm to the north. Yeah, I tell you, here's another view. This is going to be from Danielle Bronner. Let's take this full. This is from that Andalusia Timberman building downtown. We have resolved that audio issue. You know what? When you do tornado warning coverage for, 3 and 4 hours straight at a TV station, you have the luxury of having all these people in the back that start, clapping their hands and raising their arms when your audio goes out. But thank you to all the folks on Facebook Live and text messages for letting me know that our audio died, simply because the batteries died. When you're talking for 3 to 4 hours straight, these things have a limited battery capacity. And so fortunately, I was able to go over there and put a battery in. Back in business. Thanks for being patient with me. Current time now 2:31 p.m. and there's been a change. We have no active tornado warnings for any part of South Alabama or Northwest Florida as of 2:31 p.m. The tornado warning in northern Covington County has been allowed to expire. And so we're left with a severe thunderstorm warning. This storm still may be doing damage in terms of straight line wind damage in northern Covington County. But because we have no active tornado warnings, we're going to kind of do a reset here and give you some more all clears. And I do want to go back into this storm in northern Covington County to give you the very latest. So again, just after 2:30 p.m. And the good news is, if you are in Washington or Clark counties in southwest Alabama, we'll give you an all clear. You are done for the entire day, and the severe weather risk in Clark and Washington counties has come to a close. Now, I realize this is still shaded in yellow, but that will go away soon when this tornado watch is canceled. Thomasville, Grove Hill, Jackson, Chatham, Millry, Vinegar Bend, Deer Park, Fruitdale, all clear. You're done with the severe weather risk. Same thing, we gave an all clear earlier to Choctaw and Marengo counties. You are done with the severe weather risk in those areas. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning to tell you about. This is going to be a new separate severe thunderstorm warning that's just now coming on the board, and this is going to be in effect until 3:15 p.m. for parts of Butler, Crenshaw, and Covington counties. And so what's happened here, the Weather Service is kind of doubling down and reissuing this severe thunderstorm warning for the same areas that we've been talking about over the last 30 minutes in northern Covington County. If you're in Andalusia, Florella, you have no warning. This is strictly for the far northern part of Covington County, where we could have upwards of 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and large hail right in through here on top of Gant Lake, near the Gant Lake Dam, near Power South, that power generation facility right there at the dam, points north. You could have large hail up to quarter size over the next few minutes as this storm continues rumbling off to the east. This same storm has prompted a downwind warning for northern Coffee County. Elba is included, and so if you know someone at Elba, let them know the weather is about to get pretty rough. Getting some damage reports in from Cohasset Creek along Highway 84. This same storm came through that area, and getting reports that there have been trees broken off, branches down, that sort of thing in far eastern Conecuh County. So that's yet another damage report coming in. Also getting a report, and this is going to be some of those pressure gradient winds, not associated with any storm, but we've got trees down on Old Highway 31 near Wolf Log Road. Fire department's en route at this time. Certainly want to thank Ryan Keith for that report. Yeah, this one, I tell you, this one really tells the tale. Bentley, if you will, take me over to the iPad view. This is a perfect photo. I mean, this is perfect because this gives us an idea of exactly what, look at that flag. This is Gant Lake, and so this severe thunderstorm is producing images just like this across northern Covington County. Look at how hard that flagpole is blowing over. This is obviously looking to the south if the wind is blowing this way. And so again, looking south on Gant Lake, we want to thank Ms. Conway for that view. Let's go back over to LD1, go back to that storm in northern Covington County, and we're going to just keep this here because this storm continues to broadly rotate. Now, it's not rotating to the point that we have a tornado warning in effect, thankfully, but you can clearly see on velocity, which I'll show you in a minute, this is exhibiting broad signs of rotation. You can kind of see kind of a donut shape in through here, right over Dozier and Rose Hill. Again, broad rotation. There is no tornado warning out on this, but this is prompting a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 3:15. And look, this is going to cross straight into Coffee County. All right, northern Coffee County is going to be involved in this severe thunderstorm zone, and that's why a warning is in effect. Let's see if we can briefly, Bentley, if you will, take me over to LD2. I want to check on things in East Alabama quickly. Some good news to pass along. We now have no active tornado warnings anywhere in the great state of Alabama as of 2:36 p.m. That storm that moved from Dallas County just like this, I mean, it crossed the state and it produced a long track, likely violent tornado that produced several tornado emergencies along the way. That has now crossed into Georgia. It has crossed the Chattahoochee River, and it's going to be near LaGrange and Hogansville there along Interstate 85 over the next few minutes. And so if you know someone at LaGrange, Georgia, you need to call them and let them know that we have an active tornado warning in effect for areas near LaGrange and Hogansville along Interstate 85. This is going to be a new separate severe thunderstorm warning that's coming on the board, Bentley. Let's go back to LD1, if we can, please, ma'am. There we go. And this is, there's your new warning. And you note that the Weather Service continues to include this tornado possible tag. And, there's confusion around this. Let's talk about this for a minute. You can get a severe thunderstorm warning that has a tornado possible tag. What does that mean? It means that the Weather Service is not confident enough in the rotation to issue a tornado warning. We don't want tornado warnings. We want the tornado warnings to verify. And so the beauty of this tornado possible tag is, the Weather Service is indicating this thing may ramp up and produce a tornado. It's very possible. But at this point, the rotation is broad enough that there's no need for an active tornado warning. And so Dozier, Brantley, Rose Hill, right here in northern Covington, Iota, under the gun from this considerable damage threat of a severe thunderstorm warning in northern Covington County. We want you to be inside, away from windows and doors, putting as many walls as you can between you and the outside world. Anytime, I'm under a severe thunderstorm warning like this, I treat it like a tornado warning. And that's what I would tell you to do if you're near Gant Lake, Dozier, Iota, Rose Hill over the next few minutes. And some good news to pass along. If you are in Clearview, Gant, the town of Gant, Gant Lake, Strawn, Heath, red level, south, Alabama Highway 55, all clear. You're done. D-O-N-E with the tornado threat. Clearview, Gant, Gant Lake, Dunn's Bridge, Strawn, red level. You're done. No more issues from tornadoes at this point. We will continue to watch the situation very carefully as we're not completely out of the woods just yet. The Weather Service is in the process at this point. You kind of see a weird situation here. We got a new tornado watch that's just come on the board for Walton, Holmes, Washington, Florida, and Jackson counties here in the Florida Panhandle, along with all of southeast Alabama, Coffee, Dale, Henry, Houston, and Geneva counties, all involved in a new tornado watch. And I realize it kind of looks a little funky because Okaloosa County on this map does not show in the tornado watch that's just been issued, but Okaloosa County is involved. And so what NWS Mobile is doing right now, they just sent me a message about this. They are about to include Okaloosa County in a new tornado watch, and that's going to be valid until 5 o'clock for Okaloosa County. So basically all the other counties are 5 o'clock. Okaloosa is going to be 5 o'clock as well. And so don't think in Okaloosa County you're out of the woods. You certainly are not. It's just more of a technicality at this point. Getting a report from a ham radio operator in northern Covington County that we've got 38 mile per hour wind gusts that have just been recorded in Strawn. Strawn was a bit outside of the main core zone here with this supercell storm, but that just shows you how powerful this thing is. Strawn is down here, 38 mile per hour winds inbound into this storm. I bet you anything winds were probably higher than that in the actual storms. Bentley, I hadn't checked in with you in a while. Have you seen anything that we need to discuss?
Some trees down at Gannett.
Oh, really?
Gannett Lake.
Okay. Just getting that into the Weather Service. We've got to get you a microphone, you and Landon both, and I apologize for not doing that. As someone who has 5 billion events, it seems like every year, my time in the studio during the day is limited to our daily forecast video, but we will get Bentley a microphone. What she just said was that we've got trees down at Gant Lake. All right, so trees down, viewer report of trees down at Gant Lake over the last few moments. And one bit of good news to pass along. I am cautiously optimistic that we may be done with the tornado warnings locally today. Now, I can't say that conclusively, obviously, but I am optimistic anyway that these storms down here, in Santa Rosa, in Escambia, Florida, Baldwin, Mobile counties, even Escambia, Alabama, I think the better dynamics of this system probably are lifting away to the north, and there is a real chance that we probably are done with the tornado warnings locally today. Now, that said, let's go back over to LD2. That said, the dynamics are still pretty robust and supportive not only for tornadoes, but damaging straight line winds, basically extending from center Alabama up here in East Alabama down through Randolph, Chambers, Lee, Macon, Tallapoosa, Montgomery, Butler counties. In fact, I see we've got a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's go back over to LD1. Severe thunderstorm warning for northern Butler County, Fort Dale, Greenville, Daisy, Also, areas near Grady also involved in this severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see what time that one. That one's until 3:15. So if you're in the city of Greenville, severe thunderstorm warning for you until 3:15 p.m. Back over to LD2 because I do want to zoom in. I know that we got a lot of folks who are interested in the greater Auburn, Alabama area. And let's click on this warning and see. The Weather Service in Birmingham has put Lee County under a severe thunderstorm warning valid until 3:15 p.m. due to the potential for damaging straight-line winds up to 60 miles per hour coming in to Auburn and Opelika. And so if you have a student on the campus of Auburn University in Lee County, let them know the weather is about to get pretty rough. Same thing at Tuskegee, all right? Tuskegee, which is right here. If you have a student on the campus of Tuskegee University, severe thunderstorms moving in. Same thing at AUM. It looks like the core of the storms has now passed AUM at Montgomery, but these storms are coming into Auburn right now, and you could have upwards of 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts over the next few minutes. Bentley, if you will, take me over to the iPad view, and I want to show a video that has just come in from Nicole Kennedy. This is at Gant Lake, and you can kind of look at that. Wow. Watching this together for the first time, that storm got rather rowdy, to say the least, at Gant Lake. You can kind of see a boat cover there. Again, thanks to Nicole Kennedy for this view. Cooler turned over, that sort of thing. That's what you're going to get in these situations. You can see the rain streaming off the roof, and some intense winds there at Gant Lake in the last few minutes as this severe thunderstorm moved through. Back over to LD1, we'll show you that storm as it stands right now. That storm is now past Gant Lake. All clear for Gant, all clear for Strawn, all clear for Rose Hill. So basically Northern Covington is out at this point. Yes, you still technically have a severe thunderstorm warning, but the core of this has clearly moved into southern Crenshaw County near Brantley and Dozier. This is going to cross 331 into Coffee County near Elba and just north of there over the next few minutes. Wouldn't be surprised if we got another separate severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Pike County as well, south of Troy, as this supercell continues to push off into Coffee and Pike counties. It is now 2:45 p.m. The only tornado warning that we're noting is happening there near LaGrange and Hogansville, that pesky supercell thunderstorm that moved all the way across Alabama and now into Georgia, that produced horrible tornado damage in Selma and horrible damage, down from there in Autauga and parts of Elmore counties, continues into Georgia. No word on any fatalities or injuries as of this moment, but I tell you what, that thing in Selma, that was just, goodness, that was not a good situation, to say the absolute least. We had a ton of damage up there in Dallas County. And as of this moment, as of 2:46 p.m., we have ongoing non-severe thunderstorms happening in parts of Monroe, Conecuh, Escambia, Alabama, and Baldwin counties. Heavy rain happening near Huxford and Porch continues to move off to the east. Here's Northwest Florida. And again, I say this all the time, but let me reiterate. We have had no warnings today in Northwest Florida. It's not that we're ignoring you, but so far the weather has been cooperative in Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa counties. If we get a warning by chance over the next few hours, we will bring that to you here on Facebook Live in terms of tornado warnings. But right now, these storms in Santa Rosa and Escambia counties are under severe limits. We're hearing some thunder at our Bruton, Alabama studio location. We'll show that briefly. Looking like the thunder that we are hearing is probably associated with these storms near I-65 and Wallace coming in from the northwest. And so the weather is about to get pretty rough in areas near Atmore, Bruton, Flomaton as this batch of storms moves in. Same thing in Northwest Florida. Milton, Pace, Berrydale, Whiting Field, Point Baker. You've been okay so far today, but you're about to have some heavy weather. Non-severe, all right? These storms are way below severe limits. Same thing down here in the Pensacola metro. Here's Pensacola. Here's Interstate 10. This is US Highway 29. Heavy rain associated with these storms. But look, even your lightning count down here is very low. And so that's a good thing. These storms are much weaker. Same thing down near Perdido Key and Orange Beach. Yes, there's some storms moving in from Foley, Weeks Bay, Bon Secour, Gulf Shores. Non-severe. Very, very little lightning with these storms. We also note that some heavier storms are happening near the Mobile Metro, Pritchard, the campus of the University of South Alabama, Bay Minette, gusty winds possible, Alabama Highway 225. These storms are under severe limits. Same thing in Conecuh and Monroe counties, under severe limits. The only storms that we have above severe limits are exiting out of our area to the east. Technically, you still have Greenville and Daisy involved in this severe thunderstorm warning, technically speaking. That one's about to move into Crenshaw County. Northern Covington is about to be out of the severe thunderstorm warning. But southern Crenshaw and Coffee County are under the gun from that same supercell that moved across our region. And so, because we don't have any active tornado warnings as of 2:48 p.m., I'm going to scan around quickly and make sure that we don't have any imminent concerns. Yeah, we don't. We've been here, goodness, I don't know, like 2 or 3 hours. And so what we're going to do is go back to covering storms in the Red Zone Weather app in just a few minutes. An ongoing active tornado watch continues for Northwest Florida, Mobile, Baldwin, Monroe, Conecuh, Escambia, Alabama, Covington, Butler counties until 5 o'clock. But you see that Washington and Clark counties, along with Marengo and Choctaw, are out of the tornado watch. They've been canceled, all clear for the entire day back behind this band of thunderstorms. And so the good news is, once this back edge passes through your hometown, you get an all clear. We will be doing that in the Red Zone Weather app over the next few hours as this batch of storms continues to push through. Let me check our messages to see what we've got. Ooh, yeah, I tell you, we need to... Bentley, we need to show this real quick before we go off the air. This is going to be from Cheyenne at Salter, and this is in Castleberry. Let's show that. Big tree down, and that is near Castleberry. So again, a viewer report. Just getting that into the weather service. Again, this happened near Castleberry. Cheyenne Salter, thank you so much for that photo. That's a large, what appears to be an oak tree, big tree, and I think, I'm not totally sure, but I think that's Conecuh County Highway 6, off to the east of Castleberry, between El Pond and Castleberry, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong on that. Let's go back over to LD1. I see we've got, this is not for our area, but we do have a new tornado warning in place for northern Coffee County. This does not include Elba, all right? So this is in the Dothan, Alabama TV market. That same storm that produced several tornado warnings across our local area has now prompted a new separate tornado warning for northern Coffee County, north of Elba, involved in this new tornado warning. And that one is going to be on the board until 3:15 p.m. So a new tornado warning for Coffee County. And here's some more photos from Elizabeth Godwin Bush. If you will take me back to the iPad, I want to show these. This is near Sandcut in Conecuh County. You can kind of see some damage, presumably from damaging straight line winds, and look in the back there, you see, it's kind of hard to see, look at the tree damage, all right? And that's something you may miss if you kind of just glance at that photo, but we've had some serious damage. I know where that view is. That is looking south on Appleton Road, which is County Highway 49, in other words, you turn off Conecuh County Highway 6, getting on Appleton Road. This is right there, all right? And that tree is blocking the north side of Appleton Road in Conecuh County, all right? So Elizabeth Godwin Bush, thank you for these photos. And let's see here. You see a mobile home that has been damaged in terms of some of the skirting there, presumably near Appleton. Here's some more. This is damaged near Appleton, just north of there, near Sandcut, near London. Again, unknown if that's damaging straight line winds or a tornado. It doesn't matter. People, get all upset with me when we, report accurately that it's damaging straight line winds. This could be damaging straight line winds. Sometimes those are just as bad as tornado warnings. People get all frazzled with me for saying, oh, it's damaging straight line winds. Well, it is. We look for convergence in terms of, winds going different directions when we do damage surveys. And, we've had a lot of that over the last few years with folks, having damaging straight line winds. Just as big of a deal as a tornado. Let's go back over to LD1. That's something I'll preach until, I guess I'm laying out there at Union Cemetery. Damaging straight line winds can be just as bad as a tornado, and we've seen some of that today across the state. Now, don't get me wrong. We've had a horrible, long track, violent tornado today across parts of central Alabama. Take me back over to LD2, and we'll kind of recap briefly. Again, there's your line of storms now as the situation stands. But that cell right there at LaGrange, that same cell came just like this. It originated back here. It really originated back in Mississippi, obviously, crossed the line, produced a tornado starting in Dallas County. And it's going to be interesting to see because this could be one of those rare situations where we had a tornado track, just like that on the ground for, goodness, 50 miles plus. Long track, violent, significant tornado. And the good news is, so far, I have had no reports of death or injuries, but we're early on in this process. And anytime you start getting these big, bad tornadoes, those are the ones that are most problematic. Let's go back over to LD1 as we kind of wrap things up here, coming up on 3 o'clock. And I know that we've got buses about to run across the region, all right? We're coming up on the end of school at 3 o'clock for many places. And just as a note for our school superintendents, our principals, our folks in charge of decision making for these storms in terms of buses, yes, you're going to have intermittent heavy rain at times, but as of coming up on 3 o'clock, there will be no active warnings at this moment anyway for any part of South Alabama or Northwest Florida. You're good to go if you're in Monroe County, all right? Monroe County, all clear. Buses are fine. There's going to be no issues. You've got cooler, drier, stable air coming into Monroe, Clark, Washington, Choctaw, Marengo counties. Same thing in Wilcox counties. Done, all right? No issues there. You're in good shape in Mobile County as well. If we have issues over the next 1 to 2 hours, it's going to be here in areas east and south of I-65. Northwest Florida, Escambia, Conecuh, Covington counties, those are the zones that could briefly have some issues. But like we've been talking about, the better dynamics of this system are clearly lifting away. And I think there's a real chance once we end the feed in just a minute at 3 o'clock, we may be done with tornado warnings for the entire day. But again, keep in mind, you will have downpours over the next few minutes in parts of Conecuh, Escambia, Alabama, Covington County, as well as our 3 Northwest Florida communities, or counties, I should say. Berrydale, New York, Whiting Field, Point Baker, Chumuckla, Pace, Pensacola, the entirety of the Pensacola metro about to have downpours. We've got downpours right now at our studio location in Bruton. But as of this moment, we have no active tornado warnings for any part of South Alabama, Southwest Alabama, or Northwest Florida. The only tornado warning anywhere close by is happening in northern Coffee County, north of Elba, under a tornado warning due to that same storm that crossed our region. On behalf of all of us at Red Zone Group LLC, I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson alongside Bentley Martin saying goodbye for now. If we have more tornado warnings, we'll come back and bring you the very latest. Hope you have a good evening.
Be sure to find us across social media, and don't forget to download the free Red Zone Weather app and set up your customized alerts. Please support our Red Zone weather sponsors who make our coverage possible every single day.